Welcome to the Public Raft Survival Test Server. Greetings, host. System 008 at your service. Scanning No 008 profile gender female level 030/0 constitution, 8 human maximum, 10. Attack, 6 you can strike monsters with your paddle for now agility, 7 human maximum, 10. You cannot outswim sharks yet. Luck, 9 human maximum, 10. When Yun Huishi opened her eyes, she saw a square electronic screen floating before her. Please draw your talent. A large spinning wheel appeared on the screen. Still confused about what was happening, Yun Huishi tapped to draw without thinking. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have obtained the SSS rank talent, Moment of Fortune. Moment of Fortune Talent 1, 20% chance to upgrade low-rank treasure chests to high-rank ones. Upgradable. Probability increases by 1% for every 5 host levels gained. Talent 2, reveal resource-rich fishing spots within 50-meter nearby waters. Upgradable, exploration radius increases by 5 meters for every 5 host levels gained. Talent 3, 10% chance to double resources fished up. Upgradable, probability increases by 1% for every 5 host levels gained. Oh, feeble humans, you participants of this test server hold a head start. How will you survive out on the boundless ocean? A word of advice. Upgrade your raft and stock up on ample water and food. Fight to stay alive. Here you start from nothing. You can rely only on your strength and wits. Everything else means nothing. Your bound system will provide survival guidelines. Figure the rest out on your own. Current weather, sunny, calm seas. Upgrade your raft as soon as possible. When the tide rolls in, it will drag you down into the deep ocean along with your raft. As the electronic voice faded, Yun Huishi took in her surroundings. Ocean stretched out in every direction. She was sitting atop a single wooden plank. Swelling seawater seeped through gaps in the wood and soaked her clothes. A paddle lay right in front of her. Yun Huishi pinched herself hard. Pain shot through her and she gasped. What is going on? Have I really been pulled into some kind of game? And it's a test server. She stared at the floating screen. Are you my system 008? She reached out and tapped the translucent light panel tentatively. Affirmative, host. Came the robotic tone. Yun Huishi closed the spinning wheel window. 3 icons glowed on the translucent display: Survival Guide Manual, Regional Chat Channel, and Backpack. She opened the Survival Guide first. It logged the day's weather, various warnings, and ways to gather supplies. 1. Row your raft to travel and locate needed resources. 2. Beware sea monsters, they will attack your raft. 3. You will face all kinds of natural disasters. Upgrade your raft within the peaceful first 10 days. 4. Darkness at night brings grave danger. Obtain proper light sources. 5. Today, sunny, 26 degrees Celsius. After reading the 5 entries, Yun Huishi let out a bitter laugh. She closed the manual and opened the chat channel next. Chat was split into World Chat, National Chat, and Regional Chat. She entered Regional Chat. 100,000 users were online there. When she switched to World Chat, messages were scrolling so fast they were barely readable. What on earth is this? I was just relaxing at home and suddenly got pulled into this mess. Huaxia, 109. I was about to get my desired reward in a game, and then this happened out of nowhere? Huaxia, 100. Guys, I have thalassophobia. I feel like I'm dying right now. Korea, 112. I was traveling in Huaxia. How did I end up in the middle of the ocean all of a sudden? Skimming through the flood of messages, Yun Huishi gathered that people from every country had been transported here. She shut the chat window. Right now her top priority was gathering materials to upgrade her raft. Otherwise, hard times lay ahead. She would have to count on her own hands to find supplies. The heat was stifling. She had been about to set foot on an island in the Arctic Circle 1 second, and the next she was thrown into this brutal raft survival scenario, still wearing her down parka. She quickly took it off and stowed it in her backpack. Opening the bag, she found it was not completely empty. A fishing rod was already inside. Her parka stored successfully. Time to test out her talent. Yun Huishi mentally activated Moment of Fortune. Several markers lit up on her translucent display, 1 red, 1 green, 1 yellow. Following the logic that green stood for low difficulty spots, she paddled her raft toward the green marker. This was only day 1. She needed to figure out the basic rules of this survival world, and above all else, keep herself from being swept down into the deep sea. Survival came first. Half an hour of strenuous rowing brought her to the green spot. Kelp and 2 planks of wood floated on the water's surface. Was this how resources were collected? She felt grateful for her exploration-oriented talent. Those without such abilities would drift around blindly, their loot entirely dependent on random luck. Ding! Kelp and planks detected. Collect to backpack? Yun Huaishi selected yes. 12 slots remained out of 15 total backpack slots. Collection complete. Obtained plank times 1, lumber times 1, kelp times 4. Rewards fueled her motivation. The yellow marker was not far away, she hurried toward it. Another half-hour of paddling and she neared the yellow marker. A wooden treasure chest floated on the waves, filling her with joy. Ding! Wooden treasure chest detected. Salvage it? She tapped yes. The chest vanished from the water, yet the yellow marker did not disappear, unlike the green marker, which faded once looted. Perhaps this spot was meant for fishing? She decided to give it a try. She pulled the fishing rod from her backpack and cast the line toward where the chest had been. She planned to spend half an hour here testing whether resources could be fished up, and wondered what dangers the red marker might hold. Her fishing rod tugged. She hauled hard. A chest materialized on her 1 square meter raft. Ding! Fished up 1 wooden treasure chest. Automatically placed in system backpack. She breathed a sigh of relief. If it had landed physically, it might have struck her or even sunk her tiny raft. Next came investigating the red marker. She resumed rowing toward it. The red marker lay farther away, nearly an hour of rowing passed before she arrived. A bronze treasure chest came into sight, stirring her excitement, yet her mood sank when she spotted the monster guarding it. Translucent jellyfish hovered beside the chest. To claim the chest, she would have to defeat the creature. If she failed to kill it, the loot stayed out of reach. Should she take the risk? Fortune favored the bold. She would fight. If she played it too safe early on, she would struggle to thrive later. This was a test server. She would either surge ahead or be among the first eliminated. She chose to strive for an advantage. If she perished, it would simply mean she was outmatched. She guided her raft close, holding her breath and moving cautiously. 5 meters. 3 meters. 1 meter. The jellyfish remained unaware of her presence. She edged another 50 centimeters nearer. It only circled the chest. So long as she did not attack or touch the chest, she seemed safe. Still, she could not grab the loot without killing it, and she could not outswim it. She would strike first and catch it off guard. Seizing her chance, she swung her paddle hard. First order jellyfish, HP minus 10/30. Its tentacles lashed toward her, but she parried with quick reflexes. First order jellyfish, HP minus 10/20. The second number represented remaining health. 2 more swift paddle blows landed. First order jellyfish slain. Decompose corpse? She selected yes. Obtained edible jellyfish meat 200 G, added to backpack. Unclaimed treasure chest detected. Loot it? Yes. Obtained bronze treasure chest times 1, experience card times 1, added to system backpack. Hours of rowing and fighting beneath the blazing sun had drained her strength. How did one open treasure chests? As soon as the thought crossed her mind, a prompt popped up. Open wooden treasure chest? She tapped yes. Trusting the system prompts, she hoped nothing would go wrong. Opening complete. Decompose empty treasure chest? Yes. Decomposition complete. Loot automatically transferred to backpack. Please check inventory. Yun Huaishi opened her backpack. New items appeared. Plank times 5, rope times 1, mineral water times 2, bread 200 G times 1. Her eyes lit up. Food and drinking water. She would make it through day 1. She twisted open 1 bottle of mineral water and drank half before storing it away again. A brand new icon had appeared beside her backpack tab. Build. She tapped it eagerly. Building system. Construct items once you meet material requirements or possess corresponding blueprints. Very few build options were available. Only raft expansion showed up. Raft tile. Plank May 7th, rope February 1st, insufficient materials. Rafts could be expanded. Expanding to 4 square meters before nightfall became her new goal. 8 backpack slots remained free. After clearing the red marker location, its marker shifted to yellow. She cast out her fishing rod. Whatever she pulled in would be useful. The weight stretched on. At last, her rod jerked. Obtained rope times 5. The yellow marker vanished. Another red marker showed not far off on her talent scan. She headed for it. If the monster there proved too powerful, she would retreat immediately. Half an hour later, she spotted a brass-colored treasure chest. 2 palm-sized piranhas patrolled nearby. She decided to build one more raft tile first for greater safety before engaging them. Build successful. Please select placement position. She picked an open spot. Her raft expanded to 2 square meters. Water no longer seeped through everywhere thanks to the larger surface area. If the piranhas leaped aboard, the extra tiles would give her more room to maneuver. She took a deep breath and guided the raft closer. First order piranha, HP minus 10 tenths. She struck one with her paddle. Testing revealed each piranha had a total of 20 HP. Piranha slain. Decompose corpse? Before she could respond, the second piranha leaped onto the raft. She jumped backward, narrowly avoiding its bite. Its sharp teeth glinted menacingly in the sunlight. 2 more paddle strikes finished it off. Once on the raft, piranhas could only thrash in place. Their fins could not carry them across the wooden surface. Piranha slain. Decompose corpse? Yes. Obtained edible fish meat 200 G times 2, experience card times 1. Unclaimed treasure chest auto-looted. Toggle auto-loot in settings. That convenient function earned Yun Huaishi's mental praise for the system's thoughtful design. With this red marker cleared, she paddled toward the next yellow marker. Maybe another treasure chest waited there. Mid-voyage she encountered a lone sea monster, an ugly bright red fish. Bar serpentfish, HP minus 10/60ths. It bore no rank indicator. Would it drop resources? She decided to attack it. Even if only meat came from decomposition, the fight would be worthwhile. Surprisingly, the creature never counterattacked. It simply had enormous health. She made a mental note of that trait. Bar serpentfish slain. Decompose corpse? Yes. Obtained edible fish meat 200 G times 20, experience card times 1. For kilograms of fish meat. Her food reserves had swelled substantially. She was curious about experience cards, yet dusk was drawing near. 2 markers still remained unexplored, her current yellow marker destination, plus another red marker. She would examine the experience cards after dark and hurried toward the yellow spot. After collecting the wooden chest there, she raced for the red marker. System notification. 1.5 hours remain until nightfall. Warning, do not travel after dark. Enormous monsters you cannot defeat will hunt you out on open water once night falls. Yun Huaishi committed that warning to memory. She rode with all her strength for the final red marker. Treasure chest spawns might be random. She could not afford to miss this chance. She arrived. Guarding the chest was a tuna, looking fierce and clearly above first-order rank. Yun Huaishi hesitated. 20 minutes were left before sunset. She would use her 3 experience cards first. Consumed 3 experience cards. Gained 90 EXP. Player Huaxia 008 has reached level 1. Current EXP, 80/60ths. Level up rewards. Backpack expansion card times 1. Free attribute point times 1. Wooden crate crafting blueprint unlocked. She assigned her free attribute point to Constitution. Opened wooden treasure chest auto-decompose enabled. Obtained plank times 5, rope times 2, plank times 3, mineral water times 2, blueprint times 1. Loot from monster-guarded chests proved quite generous. Opened bronze treasure chest. Obtained blueprint times 1, attribute orb times 2, charcoal times 3, dry grass times 10, sharp machete times 1. A weapon. Her eyes lit up. Sharp machete deals 15 damage to monsters. Its damage output felt unimpressive, barely better than her paddle. Still, the nearby treasure chest was so close yet unreachable, and she hated giving it up. All right, I'll risk it. She built 1 extra raft tile, extending her raft into a long rectangle. If 1 tile sustained damage, 2 others would keep her afloat. Total destruction would mean certain death, but this setup improved her odds. The machete felt comfortable in her hands, longer than the paddle and shaped somewhat like a tank-style saber. She waited for the tuna to swim to the chest's side, then struck, hoping to hit before it could wheel around and retaliate. Second-order tuna, HP 200/179. Damage stacked with her base attack stat. She estimated roughly 10 hits would be needed. The tuna began ramming the raft. Durability values appeared as it struck. Fortunately, it could not climb aboard. By the time her raft's durability neared critical levels, the tuna finally fell. Tuna slain. Decompose corpse? Yes. Obtained edible tuna, meat 500 G times 2, experience card times 1. The marker turned yellow. She could still fish for extra loot. 8 minutes remained until full night. She cast her fishing line and tallied up her supplies. Blueprints times 2, water purifier blueprint. Permanently unlocks water purifier crafting upon learning. Stove blueprint. Permanently unlocks stove crafting upon learning. Yun Huaishi selected learn for both. Water purifier, plank times 3, empty mineral water bottle times 1, iron ore times 3. Stove, iron ore times 3, plank times 3. Okay, I can't craft any of them. I'll have to check the chat channel tonight to see if I can find a way to gather these supplies. Yun Huaishi felt a tug on her fishing rod and reeled it in quickly. Ding! Talon 3 triggered. Fishing loot doubled. Obtained iron chunk times 3 times 2, what a stroke of luck. Yun Huaishi was stunned. Her luck was incredible. She almost wanted to throw her head back and laugh out loud. Now she could build the blueprints she had just acquired. At the very least, she no longer worried about having no drinking water. Yun Huaishi felt a surge of joy. Night fell completely. It was pitch black, you could not see your hand in front of your face. Perhaps because of the calm period, there were no waves on the sea surface. Everything around was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. A vague sense of panic crept over Yun Huaishi. She had not eaten all day and hunger gnawed at her. There was that burning sensation from excess stomach acid, coupled with the bone-deep fear of being all alone in total silence. The calm Yun Huaishi had maintained through the day crumbled away. What kind of existence was this survival game? Only earlier that day she had been at work in her office, and on her way home everything had gone black, and she had woken up inside this game. It would be a lie to say she felt no fear. When she hunted for supplies, adrenaline had surged through her, driving her onward because she knew those resources were vital. Now that she had settled down, her self-control snapped. Remembering the system, she pulled up the regional chat. Huaxia, Wanyan. Does anyone have anything to eat? Image Huaxia.gooddog upstairs. My username says it all. Huaxia.nice weather. Trading supplies. 1 axe for 2 stones and 2 planks. Image city. Jess, does anyone have food? Hand it over and I will negotiate cooperation with your country later. Huaxia, Wanyan. Get lost. Huaxia.nice weather. Get lost +1. Line after line of +1 flooded the chat. Yun Huaishi found herself smiling faintly. These people were amusing. Even through a screen, it felt as though she was not entirely alone. She felt a strange inner conflict. Even surrounded by darkness, seeing her fellow countrymen stand united against foreigners made it feel almost as if they were right there beside her. Huaxia.008. How do you change your username? Why am I stuck with a number ID? Huaxia, Wanyan. Whoa, how is someone still using a numbered name? Just tap your avatar to edit it. Yun Huaishi blinked. They replied so fast, their fingers must have been moving at supernatural speed. Instant replies. Yun Huaishi was terrible at coming up with names, so she had just kept her numbered ID. Huaxia.008. I spent all day paddling my raft and didn't notice. Huaxia, Wanyan. Impressive. Did you paddle non-stop the whole day? Messages scrolled by rapidly in the chat box. Yun Huaishi decided not to reply. It would be too much trouble to scroll back up to send a response. She had no idea how Wanyan typed so quickly. Yun Huaishi needed to fill her stomach first. Among her day's loot were edible fish fillets. She would craft a stove and roast some fish. She opened the crafting menu and built the stove. It was a round furnace fitted with a metal rack. It looked like it would work for grilling food. It seemed decent enough, yet she still lacked one crucial thing. Fire. She had plenty of fish meat. Should she trade some for a flame source? It was worth a try. Huaxia.008. 1 kilogram fish meat in exchange for a lighter image. As soon as her message sent, she got a private message. Huaxia, Wanyan. Would this work? Image Yun Huaishi opened the attachment. It was a windproof lighter. Huaxia.008. That works. Let's complete the trade. Yun Huaishi sent the trade request, which Wanyan accepted right away. With the lighter in hand, she took out 1 unit of dry grass, lit it, and placed it inside the stove. Time to cook fish. The fish fillets were already prepared. Each was 200 grams, palm-sized and fairly thick. The night breeze was chilly. Yun Huaishi huddled close to the stove, soaking in its gentle warmth. Flames licked directly at the fish, but as long as it cooked through, that was fine. While the fish roasted, she scanned her surroundings by firelight. Every so often, bioluminescent glimmers flickered beneath the sea surface. Monsters were undoubtedly roaming these waters after dark. Thanks to the 10-day calm period, however, her raft had not come under attack overnight. By the time the fish was done, the system clock read 7 o'clock in the evening. Yun Huaishi took a careful bite. It tasted surprisingly smoky and savory. She had no idea what species of fish it was. All the sea creatures she defeated dropped generic edible fish meat, stacked together in one backpack slot. After finishing the 200-gram fillet, her gnawing hunger faded. She drank some mineral water and prepared to rest. Fatigue washed over her, making every limb feel heavy and worn out. Ding! Congratulations on surviving. Leaderboard system unlocked. Player 008 defeated 1 tier, 1 monster and 1 tier, 2 monster. Level 2 280/0. Ranked first. Rewards are being calculated. Please wait. Yun Huaishi had been fast asleep when the string of system alerts jolted her awake. What? The leaderboard was open? And she was ranked first? She was wide awake now. Curiosity burned inside her. What would her reward be? A blueprint? A treasure chest? A weapon? No matter what it was, she had hit the jackpot. She had never expected to claim first place. Her exploration, focused talent was largely responsible for all the resources she had stumbled across. She could not fall back asleep knowing unclaimed rewards were waiting for her. Lying directly on the raft, damp sea mist clung to her skin, cold and clammy. Sleep vanished completely. She sat up and checked what everyone was posting in the chat channel. Huaxia, Wanyan. Whoa, the leaderboard drops in the middle of the night. Some powerhouse hit level 2 in just one single day. City, Senro. Huaxia player 008 took down a tier 2 monster on day 1. Do people from Huaxia really know martial arts? Messages scrolled non-stop, all buzzing about her taking first place. Yun Huaishi grew uneasy about drawing so much attention. System, can I hide my rank 1 profile? She did not want to stand out. Once this early period passed, she would change her username. Affirmative, host. Would you like to hide your leaderboard display name? Yes. You may disable hiding manually in settings whenever you wish. Yun Huaishi breathed a sigh of relief. It was a huge relief to be able to conceal her identity. Island Nation, Arigato. Who is number 1? Why is their name hidden? Korea, Park Jong, UI. It must be someone from our nation. Don't even think otherwise. After she masked her rank 1 entry, the regional chat erupted. Huaxia, Wanyan. If you ever need my help, just call on me. Foreigners cannot be trusted. Wanyan seemed very friendly toward her. Still, Yun Huaishi was not going to trust him blindly. Every trade would go through the official system process to avoid being swindled out of supplies even by a compatriot. It was not that she was overly suspicious. Caution was simply wise. Huaxia.008. Sure. I will reach out if the chance arises. She replied to his private message and opened her mailbox. Her rewards sat waiting inside. She claimed them immediately. Silver treasure chest ×1, blueprint ×1, white, quality wolf. Spiked club ×1, 200. Graham bread ×5. Yun Huaishi's heart raced. These were all excellent items, including a brand new weapon and a blueprint. So this was what being rank 1 felt like. She examined the blueprint first. Cruise ship blueprint. Fine iron ×1000, aluminum ×10, copper ×30, plank ×200, gear ×45, plastic ×150. A cruise ship blueprint. Real plans for building a vessel. Yun Huaishi was utterly astonished. Her luck was phenomenal. She wondered whether every region's rank 1 player received this same blueprint. If others also had it, she would hold no unique advantage. She needed to push ahead at full speed. She intended to finish constructing the cruise ship before anyone else could, so she could secure far more resources. The strong always strove to grow stronger. Yun Huaishi had played mobile games similar to old school fantasy MMOs before. Without pay to win advantages, top-ranked players were notoriously hard to overtake later on. For the first time, the game genuinely intrigued her. Setting aside the fight for survival, she craved to grow more powerful. Since she was trapped inside this world, she would aim for the very top. It would be a waste of her extraordinary talents to do anything less. Firm resolve filled her with energy. She opened the remaining bronze treasure chest. Opened bronze treasure chest. Obtained blueprint ×1, apple ×3, attribute orb ×4, plank ×3. Deconstruct treasure chest? Yun Huaishi hesitated, then deconstructed the 2 wooden chests she had opened earlier. She gained 10 additional units of planks. She could expand her raft by 2 more sections, bringing it to 5 square meters total. After some thought, she built only one new section and kept the rest of her materials in reserve. Her raft was now 4 square meters. She no longer feared stepping into empty gaps and tumbling into the deep ocean. Opened silver treasure chest. Obtained deep. Sea bomb ×1, blueprint ×1, harpoon ×1, attribute orb ×10, backpack expansion card ×5, self, heating hot, pot meal ×3. Looting the rank. 1 treasure chest left Yun Huaishi thoroughly impressed. If she relied solely on manual exploration, she would have needed ages to get such rare gear. It felt incredibly rewarding. She activated the backpack expansion cards right away. Backpack slots +5. She now had more than 30 storage slots. Next, she looked over the blueprint from the bronze chest. Wooden storage crate. 10 storage slots. Does not preserve food freshness. Item stack limit 99. Requires plank ×20. Yun Huaishi's eyes lit up. This was exactly what she needed for storage. It only required planks, yet she had built 1 raft section already and only held 8 planks left. She needed 12 more. Her backpack was nearly full. She decided to trade 200 grams of fish meat for 10 units of planks, though she would happily take 20. She wondered whether anyone would accept the offer. Huaxia.008, 200 g fish meat for 20 planks. Price negotiable. She sent the offer first to Wanyan. Part of her wondered if she was being too shrewd a trader. Huaxia. Wanyan, I have more planks than I know what to do with. What I lack is food. Wanyan replied instantly. Huaxia.008, how did you end up with so many planks? Yun Huaishi messaged back out of curiosity. This felt like sensitive information, and she did not expect him to share his secret. Huaxia, Wanyan, I just keep fishing from one fixed spot. Planks keep biting my hook. Other resources are scarce, though. Your offer of fish meat for 20 planks is actually very generous. Yun Huaishi had not anticipated him telling her his fishing trick. She hurried to check the public chat channel. Korea, Park Hai Min, is this Huaxia player being this generous? I have seen people get 30 planks for just 200 grams of fish meat. Huaxia.yoyoball, this powerhouse must not have checked the global chat, or they would know the real market rates. Yun Huaishi scrolled upward and read through earlier messages. Many traders exchanged 200 grams of fish meat for 30 or more planks, sometimes even blueprints on top. If she converted all her stored food into planks, she would have more than enough material for massive raft expansions, provided she also gathered rope. Her current 4 square meter raft suited her well. A much larger raft would make navigating to resource points cumbersome. She possessed the cruise ship blueprint, and 10 days of the calm period still remained. She doubted she could finish the cruise ship within that window. If she somehow pulled it off, however, her safety would improve drastically. Yun Huaishi thought quickly and resolved to spend part of the night fishing for planks. Planks were not the main material requirement for the cruise ship, yet large stockpiles would let her barter for other critical components. Huaxia.008, thanks for the heads up. I will prioritize you for future trades. Once their trade finalized, she sent her thanks and closed the chat window. She pulled out her fishing rod and cast her line. Sleep felt impossible. She held blueprints, yet so many materials were still missing. 10 minutes after casting, the rod tugged. She hauled it in. Regular fishing result. Obtained plank ×3. Added to backpack. Elation washed over her. If she kept at it, gathering 200 planks was well within reach. She would scout resource points during daytime and spend nights fishing. She refused to believe she could not build the cruise ship within 10 days. If she failed, it would only mean she had not pushed herself hard enough. She fished for 3 straight hours. Eventually her eyelids grew heavy, and she could fight drowsiness no longer. She planned to grab a short rest. The system stated sunrise would come at 6 o'clock in the morning, so she set an alarm. 3 more hours of sleep, and then she would grind for supplies again. Current supplies for Yun Huaishi: kelp ×4, plank ×71, lumber ×1, rope ×14, 200 g jellyfish meat ×1, edible fish meat 200 g ×5, edible tuna meat 500 g ×2, mineral water ×3, 200 g bread ×6, self, heating hot, pot meal ×3, attribute orb ×16, charcoal ×3, dry grass ×9, sharp machete ×1, apple ×3, harpoon ×1. 10 backpack slots remained free. Over those 3 hours of fishing, she had collected 50 planks and 10 lengths of rope. It was a fruitful haul. These were basic raw materials that many well-stocked players in chat were eager to buy. Yoon Huishi intended to start purchasing more goods through the chat channel once her stockpile grew larger. Right now, fine iron was her top priority. The blueprint demanded enormous quantities of it. The previous day, after exhausting effort, she had only obtained 3 fine iron pieces from defeating a Tier 2 monster. Her talent had doubled that haul to 6. Some had already been consumed building her stove and water purifier. Fine iron was incredibly scarce. 10 days might realistically be too short a deadline. Yoon Huishi lay back, lost in swirling thoughts, unable to fall asleep. When her alarm chimed, her eyes flew open, fully alert. She activated her talent to scan for nearby resource nodes. Far more resource points appeared than on the previous day. 5 markers dotted the waters around her current position, 2 red, 2 yellow, and 1 green. Yoon Huishi decided to head for the high-threat red markers first. She would ignore the green tier node unless absolutely necessary. Green markers most likely yielded ordinary common resources. She wanted experience points and treasure chests. She paddled toward the closest red marker. She allocated the 2 free attribute points she had earned from using an experience card earlier into Constitution. Higher Constitution noticeably boosted her raft paddling speed. Rafts could be upgraded further, but special blueprints were required, and players needed to reach level 10 to build a proper wooden boat. Reaching level 10 would take quite some time. Even though she had gained 2 levels in a single day, experience point requirements rose steeply. Level 0 to level 1 cost 30 experience points. Level 1 to level 2 cost 80. Advancing to level 3 now required 280. There was no obvious pattern, and she had no idea how much experience future levels would demand. Compared to a basic wooden boat, her heart was set on the cruise ship. She hoped it would not require fuel, or she would have no way to source it. After paddling for 10 minutes, she arrived at the resource point and spotted its guardian monster. It was a Tier 2 creature resembling a giant octopus, sprawled lazily atop a treasure chest, basking in the early morning sun. It was only 6 o'clock, and the sea had not yet grown scorching hot, so Yoon Huishi understood its relaxed posture. Just like before, the octopus would not attack unless provoked. Yoon Huishi struck it twice with her machete. Laid back octopus. HP 242/210. Yoon Huishi was surprised. Even after 2 solid hits, it still retained 210 hit points. The Tier 2 tuna she had fought the day before only had 200 total health. This octopus was far tankier. She swung her blade 2 more times in quick succession. The octopus refused to stand still and take damage. Its 8 tentacles whipped wildly, trying to grab hold of her weapon. Yoon Huishi dodged, maneuvering her raft constantly while slashing away. She felt like a performer in a circus act. After a grueling fight, she finally defeated the octopus. Kill confirmed. Automatic decomposition triggered. Obtained edible octopus meat 200 G × 2, experience card ×1. Claimed unclaimed treasure chest. She used the experience card right away, gaining 60 experience points. She still needed 220 experience points to hit level 3. She cast her fishing rod in the green tier zone for half an hour and reeled in 6 iron chunks plus 3 planks. She ate one of her loaves of bread, then paddled onward toward the next red, marked resource node. This time 2 small jellyfish guarded the spot. She cut them down in 2 quick strikes and collected their wooden treasure chest. She headed toward the yellow markers, and another scan with her talent revealed an extra red node sitting between the 2 yellow points. Treasure chest spawns were clearly random, she noted mentally. She really needed to craft a wooden storage crate soon. Her backpack space was almost entirely used up. While rowing the raft, Yoon Huishi took a quick glance at the chat channel. Country of Thieves. Choi Haidong, who wants this? I'll give it away for just 2 bottles of water. Country of Thieves. Choi Haidong, who wants this? I'll give it away for just 2 bottles of water. Country of Thieves. Choi Haidong, who wants this? I'll give it away for just 2 bottles of water. His messages kept spamming the screen, as if he had copied and pasted them. Curious, Yoon Huishi clicked to check. Advanced farmland, wood ×5, straw ×5, soil ×3. Yoon Huishi's eyes lit up. This was a great item. But why was nobody interested? She figured everyone was probably busy scavenging for supplies at the moment. In that case, she wasn't going to hold back, heh. Yoon Huishi directly accepted the trade request in the chat channel and obtained advanced farmland blueprint ×1. Since she sent no message, the other party had no idea who had taken it. Yun Huaishi had no intention of haggling the price down. She owned a water purifier blueprint that could purify 2,000 milliliters of water per day, so she no longer worried about running out of drinking water. Trading 2 bottles of mineral water for a farmland blueprint was a total steal. Once she got hold of seeds later on, she would be able to grow her own food. Her deep-rooted love for farming kicked in. It seemed players from the Country of Thieves knew very little about farming and saw no value in this item, which worked perfectly in her favor. Yun Huaishi felt new strength flow into her arms as she rode the raft. The 4-square-meter raft was already getting too cramped for her. Gritting her teeth, Yun Huaishi built 2 more raft sections. On the 3-by-2-meter raft, one area held the stove and water purifier, while another stored wooden crates. Now rowing the raft required far more effort. Yun Huaishi started to regret expanding it. Resistance meant motivation. She just had to keep pushing herself. Arriving near a new red marker, Yun Huaishi spotted an enormous shark, a level 5 monster. Good heavens, what could she possibly use to fight it? She would get swallowed the second she got close. That octopus she ran into earlier that morning had already worn her out. There was no way she could take on the shark. Still unwilling to give up, Yun Huaishi rummaged through her backpack. Suddenly she remembered the reward from the top-ranking player last night. Depth charge deals a fatal blow to monsters of level 5 and below. Yun Huaishi's eyes lit up. That meant she could use this bomb to defeat the shark. She just wondered whether the explosion would hurt her too. Fortune favors the bold, and Yun Huaishi decided to take the risk. She rowed the raft a safe distance away, roughly 10 meters from the shark. Goddess Mazu, protect me. She cried out silently in her heart. She took the depth charge out of her backpack, aimed it at the shark, and hurled it with all her strength. The bomb exploded the moment it made contact with the shark. The force of the blast nearly flipped Yun Huaishi's small raft over. She clung tightly to a wooden crate on the raft to keep from being thrown into the sea. Her clothes were soaked, but that did not matter as long as she got the loot. When conditions got better, she would trade for new clothes in the chat channel. Killed level 5 shark. Loot obtained. Edible shark meat 200 G times 30. Experience card times 1. Shark serrated teeth times 20. Shark bone blade times 1. Silver treasure chest times 1. A level 5 monster dropped far more supplies than level 1 or level 2 creatures. Yun Huaishi grinned widely at the sight of all the loot. She supposed her luck was pretty good. After storing everything away, she used the experience card right away. Level up successful. Current level 3. Experience for level 4. 580/260. A level 5 monster granted 480 experience points. Level 1 monsters gave 30 points and level 2 ones gave 60. Monster experience points seemed to double with each level. Player level progression worked differently though. And Yun Huaishi had yet to figure out the exact rules. She was one step closer to level 5. Brimming with motivation. She wondered if the leaderboard would refresh again today. Yun Huaishi found herself looking forward to midnight. Feeling hungry, she pulled out an apple and took a bite. She also checked the chat channel, hoping to snatch more items others regarded as junk, but that would be extremely useful to her. Huaxia. The guy upstairs is really annoying. This blazing sun is frying me alive. Does anyone have a sunshade? Save me. Huaxia. Greenfield. Does anyone have water? I'll trade iron ingots for it. Reading this message, Yun Huaishi thought about her water purifier blueprint. Why not make profits from it? She only lacked initial resources right now, and this was not the perfect moment to start mass trading. Yun Huaishi sent a private message to Greenfield, aiming to get some iron ingots first. Huaxia. 008. 1 bottle of water for 10 iron ingots. Huaxia. Greenfield, I can only give you 3. Hurry and give me the water. I'm dying of thirst. Greenfield immediately sent a trade request. Yun Huaishi accepted it. 1 bottle of mineral water vanished from her inventory. She now had no bottled mineral water left, and would have to rely on water purified by her purifier. Even so, Yun Huaishi felt no anxiety. Her water supply was secure. She had not forgotten her long-term plans. She already had a decent stock of iron ingots. Later that night, she would craft water purifiers for trade. She planned to play the role of a shrewd merchant. Each water purifier required firewood times 3, iron ingot times 3, empty mineral water bottle times 1. The water purifier functioned much like a distiller. It needed firewood to run and produce clean water. Yun Huaishi held 74 planks. One plank could sustain the fire for 2 hours. Over 2 hours, it produced roughly 2/5 of a bottle of mineral water, around 100 plus milliliters. It was not much, but every little bit helped. After finishing her apple, Yun Huaishi cast out her fishing rod. The resource marker turned yellow. She suspected this spot held richer resources. 5 minutes later, she reeled in a bronze treasure chest. Passive talent triggered. Wooden treasure chest upgraded to bronze treasure chest. Hearing the system notification, everything made sense to her. Since the marker stayed yellow, she kept fishing. She spent 3 hours at this location and reeled in 3 wooden chests, 1 bronze chest, fine iron times 20, and kelp times 3. No wonder a level 5 monster guarded this spot. The resources here are incredible. Yun Huaishi marveled. A level 5 monster had been guarding 1 silver treasure chest and 4 wooden treasure chests. After sorting her loot, Yun Huaishi rode toward the next yellow marker. It was noon and the sun blazed fiercely. Her skin stung from the intense sunlight. Yet, she had nothing to shield herself from it. She worried opening treasure chests would fill her backpack. If supplies piled up on the raft, maneuvering would become difficult. Still, she could craft extra wooden storage crates if needed. After thinking it over, she decided to prioritize gathering resources first. Treasure chests could wait. Yun Huaishi activated her talent and set off for the next marker. It was 12 noon. With luck, she could reach several more locations. Without luck, she would gain nothing. Daytime was prime leveling time. Once night fell, she could no longer move the raft, and would have to stay put fishing for materials. She could open chests then without disrupting progress. After weighing her options, she chose to keep collecting resources. Time to get back to work. Using her talent revealed 4 nearby red markers. She prayed she would not run into any monsters above level 2. Before departing, she counted her supplies and spotted a fantastic item. Shark Bone Blade, dropped from a level 5 monster. Deals killing blows against monsters below level 3. Inflicts 30 damage on level 3 and higher unarmored monsters. This was an amazing weapon. Yun Huaishi nearly swore out loud, but held back to maintain her composure. Armed with this powerful blade, she felt far more confident even if she encountered level 3 monsters. Motivated, she rode onward. The markers lay close together, and she reached 1 red spot in 10 minutes. Level 2 Swimming Crab, HP 240, magical attack times 4. She had accidentally opened the system panel and discovered she could view monster stats in advance. She no longer needed to risk getting close to reveal their attributes. This was great news. Drawing the shark bone blade, she slowly approached the crab. With her own attack power, she only needed 7 strikes to defeat it. The crab nested right beside the treasure chest. If she struck fast enough, it might not climb onto the raft. Level 2 Swimming Crab, HP 240-214. Swimming Crab casts magical attack. Your HP 4. Current HP 310/306. Yun Huaishi was shocked. This monster could launch ranged magical attacks. She swung her blade faster. When the fight ended, her HP stood at 282, still in good condition. Defeated Swimming Crab. Loot obtained. Healing Potion times 2, Crab Shell times 1, Crab Leg times 8, Crab Pincer times 2, Level 2 Experience Card times 1. Unclaimed Bronze Treasure Chest acquired. A Level 2 monster dropped surprisingly generous rewards. Yun Huaishi cast her fishing rod. Half an hour later, she gained 1 wooden chest, hay times 15, and bananas times 2. Her backpack was completely full, all 31 slots occupied. 10 more wooden crates sat on her raft. Even so, she pressed on to gather more resources. That night she planned to trade for fine iron through the chat channel. She needed to build a yacht as soon as possible. Storage space was severely limited. After a short rest, she drank purified water from her purifier and set off again. 15 minutes passed, and it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon when she arrived at the next marker. A level 1 jellyfish guarded the treasure chest. 1 swing of her shark bone blade killed it instantly. Obtained wooden treasure chest times 1, jellyfish meat 200 G times 1. Level 1 experience card times 1. She fished for 15 minutes and gained fine iron times 3, rope times 5. Without pause, she headed for the next location. This time she saw something resembling a mushroom. She pulled up the system panel to confirm. Level 2 Teasing Mushroom, HP 240, Magical Attack 3. Another monster with magical attacks, though slightly weaker than the crab. Since her HP was still healthy, she charged in and cut it down. Huaxia 008, remaining HP 261. Defeated Teasing Mushroom. Loot obtained. Hemostatic Spore Powder ×2, Healing Potion ×2, Level 2 Experience Card ×1, Bronze Treasure Chest ×1. The rewards looked quite good. Healing Potion. Instantly restores 50 HP upon use. This was extremely valuable. Yun Huaishi was overjoyed. Those who kept working hard would always receive some good fortune. She cast her fishing rod again. Over half an hour she collected fine iron ×10, kelp ×5, and plank ×10. She kept pushing forward, ignoring the scorching sunlight, fired up by the steady stream of rewards. It was 3:30 in the afternoon. The system warned that sunset would arrive at 5:30. She could only clear 3 more markers at most. Having finished the 3 markers revealed by her last talent activation, she tried to use it again, only to be told the ability was still on cooldown, with 30 minutes remaining. Her high spirits dampened a little. She had not noticed the cooldown before. Yun Huaishi opened her talent description. Lucky Moment Talent 2, reveals resource, rich fishing spots within 500-meter radius. Talent can be upgraded. Each 5 player levels increases exploration radius by 500 meters. Usage rules. Initial cooldown 30 minutes. Each subsequent use adds a 2-hour cooldown. Resets to 0 at midnight. Nothing in this world came without limits. Once she hit level 5, her exploration range would expand to 1,000 meters. Even then, she would only get to use it 3 or 4 times per day. Her stomach rumbled, so she took a 30-minute break. She ate a banana and browsed the chat channel. Huaxia 008, 200-gram portion of shark meat for 20 fine iron ingots. First come, first served. She had checked market prices, 200 grams of food generally traded for 20 fine iron ingots. She currently held 50 fine iron ingots. She still needed 1,000 more for the yacht. Huaxia, Wan Yen, I want 1 kilogram. Wan Yen sent a trade request without extra words. Yun Huaishi accepted without replying. She still possessed 40 packs of 200-gram shark meat. Trading all of them would bring her close to 1,000 fine iron ingots. She almost believed she could gather all yacht materials within the day. She also remembered she could craft water purifiers. She must not forget that task tonight, which had slipped her mind the night before. She accepted trade requests one after another, selling off all 40 packs of shark meat. Her total fine iron rose to 950. She still needed 50 fine iron ingots, 10 aluminium ingots, 30 copper ingots, 116 planks, and 150 units of plastic. The largest material requirement was nearly satisfied. She would finish building the yacht tonight. The time was 4:10 in the afternoon. She activated her talent once more, bringing up 4 markers, 2 red and 2 yellow. She headed for the farthest red markers first. Red markers guaranteed experience, while yellow markers mostly yielded ordinary wooden chests. Leveling up remained her priority. It took her roughly half an hour to reach the red marker. She needed to fight quickly so she could tackle the second red point before dark. Level 2 Tuna, HP 210, Physical Attack 3. Facing a tuna, she felt completely confident. 6 strikes brought it down. Defeated. Loot obtained. Tuna meat 500 G ×3, level 2 experience card ×1, bronze treasure chest ×1. She cast her fishing rod and fished for 20 minutes, gaining mineral water ×3 and rope ×5. It was already 5 o'clock. She rowed hurriedly and reached the final red marker at 5:20. Level 2 Jellyfish, HP 230, Physical Attack 2. Poison effect on hit, loses 1 HP every 5 minutes. Seeing the poison debuff, Yun Huaishi hesitated. This level 2 Jellyfish was far tougher than its level 1 counterpart, and required 7 hits to kill. Sunset was only 4 minutes away. If she hesitated now, she would miss out on 60 experience points. She chose to take the risk. She swung her blade. The jellyfish drifted toward her but could not land a hit on the raft. She let out a quiet sigh of relief. Defeated level 2 Jellyfish. Loot obtained. Jellyfish meat 200 G ×3, level 2 experience card ×1, bronze treasure chest ×1. Night fell completely. Yun Huaishi lay on the raft, gasping for breath from exhaustion. She lit a fire to cook herself something to eat. Then she opened the water purifier blueprint, planning to craft one and test the market. Huaxia 008, selling water purifiers. Produces 2,000 milliliters purified water daily. Price: 20 fine iron ingots, 10 planks, 1 empty mineral water bottle. Right after she posted this message, someone bought it immediately. Had supplies become this easy to obtain? Nobody even tried to bargain. She wondered if she had set the price too low. Huaxia, Wanyan, why didn't you tell me about this great item? Wanyan had been too slow to grab it and felt frustrated. He suspected Yun Huaishi owned the blueprint. Huaxia 008, I was just testing market demand. I plan to set formal prices after seeing if it sold. I even intended to give you a discount. Yun Huaishi told him the truth since they were both from Huaxia. Huaxia, Wanyan, all right then. Don't leave me out next time. Huaxia 008 cent trade offer, water purifier. Price: 3 fine iron ingots, 3 planks, 1 empty mineral water bottle. Huaxia 008, cost price for an old acquaintance. She was not afraid of him spreading word. Her earlier listing had only been for market testing. 20 fine iron ingots in exchange for 2,000 milliliters of clean water every day was absolutely worthwhile. Huaxia, Pinduoduo, ugh. My fast-clicking reflexes still failed me. I missed the water purifier. Feels like I lost a fortune. Huaxia, Coriander, great player. Post another one, please. I desperately need it. Country of Thieves, Park High, I want one too. When players saw a user from the Country of Thieves asking for goods, many privately sent friend requests to Yun Huaishi. They sent trade offers without any haggling. Yun Huaishi kept crafting purifiers non-stop, limited only by her stock of empty mineral water bottles. She stayed busy until midnight. Altogether, she sold 200 water purifiers, netting 3,400 fine iron ingots and 1,400 planks in pure profit. She had struck it rich. Supplies obtained through trades overflowed her backpack and piled up across the raft, forcing her to expand it continuously. Her raft stretched to 50 square meters before it could hold everything. With enough iron ingots secured, she began trading for plastic and other remaining materials. Trade for water purifier: 2 aluminium ingots, 2 plastic units, 1 empty mineral water bottle. She posted this trade 5 times, using 2 iron ingots to acquire 5 empty bottles from Wanyan. Every listing got snapped up instantly. She kept adjusting trade requirements. Trade for water purifier: 2 copper ingots, 2 plastic units, 1 empty mineral water bottle. Trade for water purifier: 10 plastic units, 1 empty mineral water bottle, 2 ropes. Water purifiers were incredibly sought after goods. She kept trading until past 1 o'clock in the morning, finally gathering every material required for building the yacht. She opened the crafting station and began synthesis. Crafting in progress. Will be completed in 6 hours. Watching the progress bar, Yun Huaishi felt deep satisfaction, knowing she would soon own a yacht. One full day of hard work had brought far bigger rewards than she expected. She set an alarm through the system, planning to rise at dawn and resume resource hunting. Just as she closed her eyes, the system notification chimed. Day 2 settlement rewards for Raft test server have been delivered. Please check your mailbox. Yun Huaishi could no longer sleep. At midnight, the system had announced she retained first place on the leaderboard, yet the rewards had not arrived until now. She sat up and opened her mailbox, finding a silver treasure chest and a piece of armor. Armor? Raft test server day 3. Equipment and mecha systems are now unlocked. Players may explore on their own. A red notification dot appeared on her backpack interface. She clicked it open. Attribute orb can be used to raise superpower attributes. That explained everything. Hand-to-hand combat alone could never defeat powerful sea monsters. Players could unlock special abilities. Yun Huaishi adapted quickly. Holding first place on the leaderboard felt amazing, recognition for all her hard work. While luck had played a part, luck counted as part of one's strength too. Now free, she used her saved-up experience cards. Her collected cards included 1 level, 1 experience card and 4 level, 2 experience cards, totaling 270 experience points. Current progress, level 3 level 4580/530. She only needed 50 more experience points to level up. Defeating 1 more level, 2 monster tomorrow would push her to level 4. Her number 1 rank reward contained 1 silver treasure chest, 2 bronze treasure chests, and the piece of armor. She dared not claim the rewards right away. Her overloaded raft lacked storage space, and the yacht had not finished constructing yet. She hoped the yacht came with built-in storage, otherwise she would face a serious space crisis. Barely any free space remained on the raft. Yoon Huaishi leaned against a treasure chest and tried to sleep. Sleep did not come easily. The salty sea wind blew cold against her face. When dawn finally broke, Yoon Huaishi hurried to check on her yacht. Yacht construction complete. Please ensure you have at least 1 free backpack slot. Yoon Huaishi quickly cleared a slot and stacked all the wooden treasure chests. Then she claimed the yacht. Eagerly, she walked to the edge of the raft and clicked on the yacht in her backpack. A 1,300 square meter yacht, upgradable, no accessories. Do you wish to place it? Unable to contain her excitement, Yoon Huaishi clicked yes. A yacht materialized right next to her raft, and she hurried aboard. After running across its deck, she spotted a storage warehouse. Yacht warehouse can store non-perishable items such as ores. That was exactly what she needed. Yoon Huaishi stowed everything except food inside. Then she returned to the raft to haul planks and fine iron. Fine iron would definitely prove useful later. 1 backpack slot could hold 99 units of the same material. After 5 trips, she finally transported all the supplies over. Staring at the old raft, she wondered what to do with it. Could she put it into her backpack? Once all items were moved onto the yacht, touching the raft brought up new system information. A raft with 99 durability. You may choose to dismantle it. Yoon Huaishi immediately clicked dismantle, gaining 249 planks and 99 ropes. 1 plank and 1 rope were missing. She guessed she must have lost them during monster fights when durability dropped. Still, it was only a minor setback. She stored the newly obtained materials. Next, she planned to hunt monsters. She only needed to defeat 1 second-order monster to level up. Yet one problem remained: how to operate the yacht. The yacht was plain and unfinished. Yoon Huaishi was amazed that such a huge vessel could be built with so few materials. Though each iron unit measured a massive 40 by 40. Her water purifier and stove were too heavy to carry by hand. 1,000 units of materials was indeed a great amount. But this was a game world. She was effectively just a collection of data here, so there was no point obsessing over small details. She tried to figure out how to pilot the yacht. Making her way to the cockpit, she noticed a red notification dot on her backpack interface. She opened it. A yacht piloting manual. Sufficient fuel is required for operation. Yoon Huaishi sighed. If only she had fuel. She felt the frustrating feeling of holding great wealth with no way to spend it. Her yacht had 0 fuel. What could she do? She possessed no blueprint for fuel and had no idea where to find it. Without fuel, she could not travel to gather supplies. She had to think of a solution. Yoon Huaishi built a 2 square meter small raft to test whether she could stow the large yacht in her backpack. Her backpack now held water and food. Weapons, unlocked along with the superpower system the previous night, were equipped on her person and could be summoned at will. It sounded fantastical, yet it was her real-life experience. She boarded the small raft beside the yacht, placed her palm against the yacht's hull, and mentally commanded, "Store." Thankfully, the yacht vanished and reappeared inside her backpack. It seemed this trick worked before the calm period ended. Yoon Huaishi used her 16 attribute orbs. Attribute orbs used successfully. Please select your awakened superpowers. 9 options appeared on her panel: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, light, darkness, ice, thunder. From what she knew, light handled healing, darkness delivered powerful attacks, and ice and thunder were also formidable elemental powers. She wondered how many powers she could unlock at once. Greed stirred within her. She clicked them one by one. Selected options glowed green. She suspected the number of orbs determined how many powers she could obtain. In the end, she chose light, darkness, ice, thunder, fire, water, and wood. She could no longer select earth and metal. It looks like the limit is 7, Yoon Huaishi muttered, then confirmed her choice. Selection complete. Each superpower may learn 1 skill per stage. 1 stage equals 10 levels. Please plan accordingly. Attribute orbs have been assigned in your selected order. Check your personal panel for details. Yoon Huaishi realized that with 7 powers, she would gain 7 skills for the first stage and 14 skills upon reaching level 10. That seemed overpowered. She opened her personal panel to read further. Player Huaxia.008 Gender, female age, 26 level, 4 and 580/560th Constitution, 10 human maximum limit attack, 6 agility, 7 luck, 9 health points, 320/287 mana points, 280/280 superpowers, light 3, darkness 3, wood, water, fire, ice, thunder all at 2. Note: a superpower levels up once upon reaching 500 points. Subsequent level-ups require exponentially more points. Discover further details through gameplay. Yun Huaishi only partly understood the mechanics. Reaching 500 points was far off, and she would learn more in time. Right now she had no actual skills, so these powers felt largely useless. She scrolled down and found more text. Choose one superpower as your primary attack method. Darkness, chance to erode enemy health. Light, chance to instantly kill enemies below 20% health. Wood, chance to summon 10 wooden thorns dealing 10% of your attack damage each. Water, chance to restore 10% of your own health. Fire, chance to launch 3 fireballs dealing 30% of your attack damage each. Thunder, chance to trigger a critical hit. Ice, chance to freeze enemies for 3 seconds and slow their movement speed. The long description made her eyes swim. Normally she skipped game tutorials, but this world could get her killed, so she read carefully. After weighing her choices, she picked Thunder as her primary attacking power. The critical hit chance sounded extremely strong, though she wondered how the probability was calculated. She kept scrolling for usage instructions. Superpower trigger chances increase with player level. Base chance is 10%. Gains 5% every 5 levels, capped at 100%. Now she understood all the rules and felt relieved. It was past 9 in the morning. She had not fought any monsters yet and grew anxious, eager to level up. She had activated her tracking talent earlier. The marker was only about 10 minutes away by raft. Upon arriving at the red marker, she spotted an unfamiliar monster. Burst Flower, second order, 300 health, for magic attack, applies burning debuff. Yun Huaishi was shocked. The monsters kept getting harder. She worried natural disasters might appear next. Could she even survive this world? She wondered if she alone had encountered such a foe, so she opened the global chat and read silently. Cherry Blossom, Miyuki, ran into an elemental monster today. It nearly killed me. Huaxia, Wanyan, whoa everyone, I fought an elemental monster. Does anyone have health restoring items? Wanyan sent Yun Huaishi a private message. Health potions were her life-saving emergency supplies, so she could not give any away. Huaxia.008, sorry, I don't have any either. She felt better knowing she was not the only one facing tough enemies. Time to resume hunting. This second-order monster had massive health. She estimated she would need 9 strikes to defeat it. Without a staff, she could not unleash her superpower attacks anyway. Superpowers required both staves and skill books, items she badly needed. She hoped stored chests on her yacht would grant useful loot. She had saved unopened treasure chests and planned to open them after nightfall. She ate 2 bread rolls and drank mineral water. That was what she had forgotten earlier. It was 9:30. She needed to defeat the burst flower with minimal losses. The orange-red flower swayed side to side, looking oddly cute, much like a plant from a tower defense game. Its magic attacks were hard to dodge out on open sea, so she would have to tank the damage. After mentally bracing herself, she advanced with her shark-bone blade. As she drew near, the burst flower tilted toward her, nearly launching an attack. She quickly struck twice, then endured 5 counterattacks. She felt no physical pain, yet a genuine sense of weakness washed over her as her health dropped. Burst flower defeated. Loot obtained. Fire Spirit Orb ×4, Bronze Treasure Chest ×1, Second Order Experience Card ×1, Burst Flower Nectar ×1. She checked the new item. Fire Spirit Orb raises fire element superpower points. Reach 500 points to level up the power. It functioned similarly to attribute orbs. She used it right away. Her fire power rose to 2 points. 494 more points were needed for an upgrade. Growing stronger would be a long journey. She activated the experience card and advanced to level 5. Congratulations player Huaxia.008 for leveling up. Current level 5 1600/40. Rewards: 5 free attribute points, 5 intermediate backpack expansion cards. Check system panel for skill updates. Seeing the huge experience requirement for level 6 made her sigh. Still, the intermediate expansion cards excited her. She used them immediately. Intermediate backpack expansion cards activated. Backpack capacity increased from 40 to 60 slots. Each intermediate card unlocks 4 new slots. Level up rewards felt wonderful, filling her with motivation. She grabbed her paddle and headed for the next marker. She hummed to pass the boredom as she rowed. Then she froze. Half-human tall pea shooter stood ahead. Was this raft survival or Plants vs. Humans? The pea shooter seemed straight out of a video game. She wondered if it was just a coincidence. Her health bar was full again, leveling up fully restored her health. Knowing pea shooters only shot forward, she circled behind it for a sneak attack. It could not turn around. She struck its head repeatedly and defeated it without taking any damage. Pea shooter defeated. Loot obtained. Bronze treasure chest ×1, second order experience card ×1, hardened pea ×3, wood spirit orb ×4. Happy with her rewards, she noticed the red marker remained, yet no monsters were left. For the first time she saw such a state. She decided to cast her fishing rod. Now that she was level 5, she had time to experiment with her new tools. She fished for dozens of minutes and nearly dozed off before her rod jolted violently. What on earth? She pulled hard, struggling against whatever was hooked. After 10 minutes of tug-of-war, she hauled it aboard. Blueprint, fuel ×1 obtained. She could hardly believe her luck. It was exactly what she needed. She learned the blueprint instantly. An unconventional blueprint. Fuel can be synthesized using any items, no restrictions on item type or quantity. It was imperfect, yet far better than nothing. She would study its mechanics tonight. Daylight was too precious to waste. Experience gains were her priority, since level-up requirements kept rising. Loot would keep, so she pushed toward the next marker. It was 12:30. Night would fall soon. 20 minutes of rowing brought her to her destination, guarded by a third-order monster. Frost Branch, third order, 500 health, 10 attack, applies slow debuff. Compared to the second-order Burst Flower's 300 health, 500 health seemed manageable. Its attack was 1.5 times higher. But overall not too intimidating. The burning effect from Burst Flower had been terrifying, dealing steady damage over time. Next to that, Frost Branch almost looked harmless. Yun Huaishi assigned her 5 free attribute points entirely to attack. Her base attack became 11. Adding her Sharkbone Blade's 30 attack, her total reached 41 damage. She circled behind Frost Branch and struck. Frost Branch health, 500/459. After 3 hits, Frost Branch finally retaliated. She landed 2 more blows before it struck again. This pattern continued. She finished the fight losing only 48 health points. Frost Branch defeated. Loot obtained. Ice Spirit Orb ×8, Frost Branch Nectar 20G ×5, third order experience card ×1, Bronze Treasure Chest ×1. The marker shifted from red to yellow. She cast her fishing rod. After finding the fuel blueprint at the last site, she suspected monster-guarded locations held valuable hidden resources. 20 minutes passed before something bit. She reeled it in. Passive talent triggered, loot doubled. Blueprint, refrigerator ×2 obtained. A refrigerator. But how would it work without electricity? It seemed useless at first glance. She recalled earlier thoughts of coming natural disasters. Perhaps extreme heat or cold would arrive later, making refrigeration essential. She checked the crafting requirements. Refrigerator blueprint, fine iron ×6, ice spirit orb ×10, electronic component ×1, gear ×4. 2 materials were completely unfamiliar. She set the blueprint aside for later research. 2 minutes later, she caught bottled mineral water. She activated her tracking talent and sailed onward. Third order Merciless Tentacle, 600 health, 10 attack, applies corrosion debuff. The dark, writhing monster came into view. Yun Huaishi hesitated, unsure whether she should engage it. It appeared to wield darkness element power. Yun Huaishi mainly wanted to focus on dark attribute superpowers, as they seemed to pack formidable destructive power. Gritting her teeth, Yun Huaishi decided to take on this quest. The monster looked quite abstract, somewhat resembling an octopus, yet lacking a head. It was a tangled mass of vine-like tendrils. Slimy and revolting to behold. Goosebumps prickled all over Yun Huaishi's skin. She had always feared such slippery, gooey creatures. But for 10 dark spirit orbs, she was willing to take the risk. The monster appeared to have no true backside. Since light attribute powers counter dark attribute ones in general, Yun Huaishi chose light as her primary offensive ability. She hoped one of her next 15 strikes would trigger her light attribute skill. Her light attribute skill held a chance to instantly slay enemies whose health dropped below 20%. She prayed for good fortune so she would not sustain heavy damage. She still had 272 health points. With her normal attack speed, she ought to defeat this monster while staying within a safe health threshold. After gauging her angle, Yun Huaishi lunged at the merciless tentacles. She landed 3 hits, and the merciless tentacles struck her once in return. So far so good, thought Yun Huaishi. This third-rank monster's attack speed was comparable to second-rank foes. Yet a single hit drained 15 of her health points. Was its corrosion skill this brutal? Yun Huaishi's eyes widened in shock. Luckily, her light attribute skill activated right then. On her 12th strike, the merciless tentacles was instantly slain. Congratulations on defeating third-rank merciless tentacles. Obtained, Dark Attribute Mucus ×3, Mid-Tier Health Potion ×3, Third-Rank Experience Card ×1, Bronze Treasure Chest ×1. Spotting a yellow marker, Yun Huaishi pulled out her fishing rod and cast her line. 10 minutes passed, and she reeled in a wooden treasure chest. It was now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yun Huaishi's health sat at 212 points, and she felt utterly drained. Even moving felt sluggish. Mid-tier health potion restores 100 health points upon use. Yun Huaishi clicked to use it, and vigor flooded her body at once. It seems you truly cannot afford to lose vitality, or weakness sets in, she muttered to herself. All right, back to work. Yun Huaishi used 2 third-rank experience cards straight away. Usage successful. Current experience, 1600/240. So she only needed to defeat 15 third-rank monsters to level up? That would take roughly 3 to 4 days. It felt like a reasonable pace. What Yun Huaishi did not know was that most survivors remained at level 1, with only a handful reaching level 2. Her leveling speed was far ahead of the crowd, thanks largely to her powerful innate talent. No more overthinking. Time to press on. I still have plenty of health potions. If I slack off, others will catch up. After all, I can get a silver treasure chest every single day. What a great reward. Muttering to herself, weariness melted away, and new resolve filled her. Unfortunately, her next target was merely a second-rank monster. Facing an ordinary second-rank foe sapped her motivation. Still, it dropped useful supplies, so she finished it off in 5 strikes. Her talent was wonderful in every other way, yet it could not filter monster ranks. Since reaching level 5, Yun Huaishi could detect resources within a 1-kilometer radius. 5 red markers for yellow markers and 8 green markers had appeared. Yellow markers no longer interested her. She headed straight for the red ones. It was already 4 o'clock. If she dawdled, she would run out of time to hunt. She aimed to defeat 2 more monsters to gain extra experience. Yun Huaishi decided she had spent too much time fishing for loot. Unless she obtained blueprints, the reward was hardly worthwhile. Gaining experience took priority. Supplies could be traded for, but experience could not. She was certain her stock of health potions would be highly sought after by most other survivors. For now, monster hunting remained her main focus. She wondered what ranks of monsters others encountered. She had not come across a single first-rank monster all day. She caught herself feeling displeased at fighting second-rank creatures. She had grown rather complacent. By the time she reached the marker, it was 4:30. Rowing her raft all day had left her worn out. Still, looking at 5 bronze treasure chests and 1 wooden chest in her backpack, Yun Huaishi told herself the fatigue was well worth the harvest. Her next foe was a second-rank Blaze Flower. Congratulations on defeating Blaze Flower. Obtained, second-rank experience card ×1, bronze treasure chest ×1, Blaze Nectar ×3, health potion ×2. The clock read 4:50 p.m. Yun Huaishi hurried toward the next marker. She hoped to encounter 2 third-rank monsters before nightfall. Beating them would leave her just 1,000 experience points short of her goal. Third-rank pea shooter. Health, 650. Attack, 11. Spotting the pea shooter, Yun Huaishi grew excited. This enemy was easy to kill. Congratulations on defeating third-rank pea shooter. Obtained, bronze treasure chest ×1, diamond pea ×3, third-rank experience card ×1, health potion ×2. Yun Huaishi was thoroughly pleased with the pea shooter. It went down easily and granted generous rewards. Gaining 2 extra basic health potions made her day. It was 5:20 in the afternoon. 1 more marker remained within reach. She set off immediately. Rest was out of the question. Even 60 extra experience points were welcome. 120 would be even better. Yet it seemed all her good luck for the day had run out. Her final monster was a first-rank piranha. Congratulations on defeating first-rank piranha. Obtained. First-rank experience card ×1, wooden treasure chest ×1, edible fish flesh 200 G ×2. At 5:55, Yun Huaishi summoned her yacht and stowed her small raft. At last, she would sleep safely for the night. No more worrying about drifting out into the deep ocean, and her mood lightened considerably. She wondered whether she was still under new player protection, or if the ocean was simply immense. For 3 days she had sailed far and wide without meeting a single other human survivor. Stretching out on the yacht's deck, Yun Huaishi felt unprecedented relaxation. Her living conditions were still basic, yet she now had shelter from wind and rain, quite an achievement. Her next goal was to acquire blueprints for a bed and quilt to improve her living quarters. She possessed ample refined iron and planks. If necessary, she could trade away one of her weapons. Thinking of trading, Yun Huaishi recalled that Wan Yan had mentioned needing health potions. She held more than a dozen in her inventory. Giving one away for trade would not hurt. She wondered if he still wanted them. Huaxia 008, do you still need health potions? Huaxia, Wan Yan, yes, absolutely. What are you offering in return? Huaxia 008, I want skill books. Yun Huaishi intended to hold out for valuable goods. She possessed 7 superpowers, yet without corresponding skill books, most of them remained unusable. She longed to try ranged attacks. She could not keep rowing out on her small raft to hunt monsters while her yacht stayed anchored. That was far too inconvenient. If she learned skill books, she could cast abilities directly from her deck. The more she thought about it, the more desirable skill books became. Huaxia Wanyan. Skill books? Which ones are you looking for? Reading his reply, Yun Huaishi suspected he owned more than one. Had he looted them from treasure chests? Perhaps she ought to open her own chests first before finalizing the trade. It would be a terrible waste to end up with duplicate skills. Huaxia 008. What superpower do you wield? I might trade you skill books I own if they match. Since Wan Yan held valuable resources, Yun Huaishi saw no reason not to bargain with him. She was only sounding him out for now. She would make concrete decisions after opening her chests. It was only 6 o'clock, just after dark. She still had 6 hours before she needed to commit. Silver treasure chest opened successfully. Obtained. Skill book ×1, electronic component ×3, attribute orb ×8, silver, moon curved bow ×1, purple arrow ×30. Yun Huaishi stared at the lavish rewards in shock. Silver treasure chests held such extraordinary value? This was incredible. With trembling hands, she opened her second silver treasure chest. Silver treasure chest opened successfully. Obtained. Skill book ×1, gear ×5, attribute orb ×6, blueprint ×1. Another skill book? Yun Huaishi was stunned. Were silver chests guaranteed to drop skill books? Could bronze chests also yield them occasionally? Yun Huaishi grew eager. She had looted no fewer than 7 bronze chests that day, plus others from the previous day. She had more than enough food and planks. All she wanted now were attribute orbs and bronze treasure chests. Opened 10 bronze treasure chests. Obtained. Mineral water ×6, 200 G bread ×10, attribute orb ×50, blueprint ×3, blue, grade necklace ×1, white, grade helmet ×1, green, grade shoes ×1, white, grade gloves ×1, skill book ×1, self, heating hot pot ×3, white, grade shoes ×1, exquisite iron blade ×1, refined iron ×25, apple ×5, banana ×3, plank ×10, rope ×10. 10 bronze chests had yielded a huge haul. Yun Huaishi considered the results satisfactory. She was especially curious whether the newly looted gear granted base stat bonuses. If so, this batch of loot was an unqualified success. Blueprint, exquisite wooden bed. Crafting materials, plank ×20, timber ×10, cotton ×25, cloth ×20. Yun Huaishi's eyes lit up. It was exactly what she had been hoping for. A bed. Finally, I won't have to sleep on that hard deck. Yun Huaishi's eyes sparkled at the blueprint. Sleeping on the raft for the past 2 nights had left her bones aching. Even on the yacht, sleeping on cold metal flooring would guarantee a stiff neck. Without hesitation, she pulled up the crafting interface. She possessed 20 planks, 10 timber units, and exactly enough cotton and cloth. She confirmed the recipe. A soft chime rang out, and a 1.5-meter wide single bed materialized inside the yacht's rest cabin, complete with a cotton mattress and a thin quilt. Kicking off her shoes, Yoon Huaishi threw herself onto the bed. She buried her face in the soft quilt and sighed contentedly. This is what proper living feels like. After rolling happily across the mattress, she sat cross-legged and took out the 2 skill books she had obtained. Their covers were plain and faded, bearing no titles. She tapped one. Ding. You have learned the basic lightning, attribute skill. Summon lightning, consumes 30 mana. Calls down a bolt of lightning to strike a target, dealing 300% of your attack power as magic damage. 15% chance to inflict a 2-second stun. Ding. You have learned the basic light, attribute skill. Holy light slash, consumes 20 mana. Launches a blade of light, dealing 200% of your attack power as damage. If the target's health falls below 20%, there is a 30% instant kill chance. It was exactly what she needed. Yoon Huaishi's base attack stood at 11. Her shark, bone blade added another 30 points, bringing her total attack to 41. Summon lightning would deal 123 damage per cast. Against second and third rank monsters, she would not even need to close into melee range. She could blast foes to cinders from a safe distance. She clicked to learn both skills. 2 new icons lit up on her skill bar. Having mastered her new abilities, she thought of Wanyan. He might well have more valuable loot. She opened her private message window. Huaxia008. Hey, did you get any skill books from your chests? I've got health potions for trade. Almost immediately, a voice call request popped up from Wanyan. Yoon Huaishi accepted it. Wanyan's frantic voice poured through the speaker. Boss, you finally messaged me. I just opened a chest and got a lousy wood, attribute skill book. My superpowers are metal and fire. I cannot even use it. Please trade me some potions. A mutated seagull pecked me, and I'm still bleeding. Huaxia008. Cut to the chase. Send me a screenshot of the skill book. Wanyan sent over an image right away. Basic wood, attribute skill, vine entangle. Consumes 20 mana. Summons vines that bind a target for 3 seconds, completely restricting movement. A crowd, control skill. Yoon Huaishi's eyes widened. It was perfect for kiting monsters. Huaxia008. 2 basic health potions. Deal? Huaxia, Wanyan. Yes. Boss, I also have a dark, attribute skill called Shadow Orb from a bronze chest. Are you interested in that too? Yoon Huaishi smiled. Wanyan was practically her personal supplier. Both skills matched superpowers on her skill tree. Huaxia008. I'll take the dark, attribute 1 as well. Add 1 mid-tier health potion as payment. Final offer, Huaxia, Wanyan. It's a deal. From now on you're my big sister. The trade completed instantly. Yoon Huaishi learned both Vine Entangle and Shadow Orb. With 4 skills now at her disposal, she felt tremendously confident. Next she sorted through her newly acquired equipment. Ocean's Heart Blue, Grade Necklace, plus 100 maximum mana. Regenerates 5 mana per minute. Swift Boots Green, Grade Footwear, plus 5 agility. Increases movement speed by 10%. Battered Iron Helmet White, Grade Helmet, plus 2 defense. She slipped the cool necklace around her neck and equipped the boots and helmet. Her mana rose all the way to 380. With such mana regeneration, her combat sustainability was outstanding. It was deep into the night when her stomach rumbled loudly. Yoon Huaishi pulled a self-heating hot pot from her backpack, poured filtered water from her water purifier, and waited. Steam soon curled from the vent holes. The bubbling broth made her mouth water. She lifted the lid. Spicy red broth steamed, filled with beef slices, wide noodles, and potato slices. She stuffed a mouthful of beef into her mouth. It burned her tongue and brought tears to her eyes, yet it tasted wonderful. While eating, she browsed the regional chat channel. Huaxia, Zhongsan, I'm freezing. The night sea wind is brutal. I don't have enough materials to build a stove. Could anyone spare some charcoal? Sakura, Kamita, damn it. A black fish jumped onto my raft and bit me. My leg is turning dark. Does anyone have antidotes? Flowerland, Jack, buying fresh water. I will trade blueprints for water. Reading the stream of desperate messages, Yoon Huaishi slurped wide noodles and finished the last of her broth. This survival game granted no mercy. Only 3 days in, most survivors still struggled to secure basic food and warmth. Without good fortune and relentless effort, she would be huddled in cold wind eating dry bread as well. Finished eating, she tossed her waist overboard. Yun Huaishi yawned, removed her outerwear, and slipped under the soft quilt. "Tomorrow I aim to hit level 6 and test out my new skills," she mumbled. Within 2 minutes, she fell fast asleep. The ocean lay quiet, and the yacht rocked gently against small waves. Sometime later, boom, crack. A deafening crash exploded nearby. The yacht lurched sharply to starboard. Yun Huaishi tumbled off the bed together with her quilt. Her forehead slammed hard against the nightstand, and sharp pain brought tears to her eyes. The yacht's alarm blared shrilly. Did we hit an iceberg? Grabbing her shark bone blade from beside her pillow, she sprinted barefoot out of the rest cabin. Violent sea wind whipped her hair wildly. Normally calm waters were now churning with 2-meter high black waves. Leaning over the railing, she nearly dropped her weapon in shock. It was no iceberg or sea monster that had rammed her yacht. A huge, weathered 3-masted sailing ship lay wedged against her hull. Its sails were tattered rags, its hull encrusted with green seaweed and barnacles, and skeletal remains hung from its railings. Before Yun Huaishi could process where this ghost ship had come from, creaking bone noises echoed across its deck. Lit by her yacht's searchlight, she saw 7 or 8 skeletons dripping with black seawater, holding rusted scimitars. They clambered across the gap between vessels and swarmed onto her yacht. Leading them was a skeleton captain whose empty eye sockets burned with eerie green flame, its gaze fixed firmly upon Yun Huaishi by the railing. Attacking in the middle of the night. Can a girl get some sleep? Yun Huaishi tightened her grip on her shark bone blade. Woken abruptly from sound sleep, she stood barefoot on cold deck planks. The sharp sea wind cleared her mind completely. System stats popped into view. 4th, rank Spectral Skeleton Captain, Health 800, Attack 45. Extremely high physical defense. Inflicts nether poison. Each hit drains 5 health points per second for 10 seconds. 3rd, rank Skeleton Soldier, Health 500, Attack 30. Feels no pain, tireless. A 4th rank monster brought an entire squad to hunt me? Yun Huaishi let out a cold laugh. Only a few hours earlier, armed with nothing but her bone blade, she would have had no choice but to jump overboard. Things were different now. She was a mage with newly learned powers. The skeleton captain opened its jawless skull and let out a shrill scraping noise. It leaped onto the yacht's deck, rusted scimitar raised high. Its 7 skeleton soldiers hopped down after it one after another. If those bones get my new deck dirty, I'll smash every last one of you. Yun Huaishi stepped backward to create distance, raised her left hand, and locked onto the skeleton captain. Summon lightning. Purple light flashed across the night sky above the yacht. Crash! A thick bolt of blue, purple lightning descended and struck the skeleton captain square on its skull. 123. A large red damage number floated in the air. Lightning heat vaporized much of the black slime coating the skeleton, releasing a foul stench. 15% stun effect triggered. Every bone in the captain's frame convulsed. The green fire in its eye sockets flickered wildly. It froze rigidly in place, unable to lift its scimitar. This skill is amazing. Yun Huaishi's eyes lit up. Fighting from range without bloody close quarters combat was the way to go. The skeleton soldier showed no such restraint. 3 of them circled around and swung their rusted blades at her from 3 directions. Yun Huaishi rolled sideways to evade their strikes and raised her right hand. Vine and tangle. Thick thorny vines burst up through the metal deck, coiling tightly around the ankles of the 3 skeleton soldiers. They lost their footing and crashed heavily onto the deck. Try this next. Yun Huaishi brought her hands together and unleashed Holy Light Slash. A blinding crescent-shaped streak of white light swept out from her palm, slicing through the fallen skeleton soldiers as if cutting tofu. Light element held a natural advantage over dark-type monsters. Where the white light touched the black sludge coating the bones, a sizzling sound echoed, like food frying in oil. Holy Slash instant kill effect triggered. The 2 third-order skeleton soldiers did not even get a chance to struggle. Their skeletons shattered instantly, crumbling into piles of black ash. The remaining one that escaped the instant kill lost more than half its health in an instant. That's ridiculously powerful. Yun Huaishi glanced at her mana bar. The combo just now had cost 70 mana points. Yet, she wore the Heart of Ocean necklace, which restored 5 mana points every minute. Her mana reserves were ample. She had nothing to fear. The 4 remaining skeleton soldiers hesitated visibly, seemingly wary of the white radiance. At that moment, the skeleton captain broke free from its paralyzed state. Enraged, the green flames burning in its eye sockets blazed higher. It roared and charged forward, twice as fast as before. Unfazed, Yun Huaishi turned and sprinted in circles across the broad deck, tossing shadow balls over her shoulder as she ran. Black orbs of energy slammed into the ribs of the skeleton captain, blowing 2 bones loose and stripping away 50 health points. Tough hide, huh? I'll just hack you a few more times. Summon lightning. Holy slash. Light and shadow crisscrossed the yacht deck amid peals of thunder. Yun Huaishi moved like an unstoppable mobile turret, leading the skeleton captain and the remaining minions on a wild chase. By the time the skeleton captain finally closed the distance and lunged at her, barely a sliver of health remained. Yun Huaishi did not even bother casting another skill. She gripped her shark bone knife with both hands and met the rusted curved blade swinging toward her, forcing it upward sharply. Crack! The already decaying blade snapped cleanly. Yun Huaishi followed up with a kick to its kneecap, then twisted her knife to sever its cervical vertebra. Clatter. The skull rolled to the edge of the deck. The green fire in its eye sockets flickered twice before fading out completely. Leaderless, the battered surviving minions were swiftly reduced to dust by Yun Huaishi's lightning strikes. Ding! Congratulations on slaying the 4th Order Phantom Skeleton Captain. Rewards received: 1 times 4th Order Experience Card, 1 times Blue-Grade Nether Curved Blade, 15 times Dark Spirit Orbs, 1 times Golden Treasure Chest, 1 times Nautical Compass. Congratulations on slaying 7 times 3rd Order Skeleton Soldiers. Rewards received: 7 times 3rd Order Experience Cards, 35 times Dark Spirit Orbs, 7 times Bronze Treasure Chests, 1 times Fragment of Worn Treasure Map. Yun Huaishi slumped onto the deck, gasping for breath. Though she had not taken a single point of damage, all the frantic movement late at night had drained her stamina heavily. A golden treasure chest. Her gaze locked onto the gleaming golden crate that had dropped, unable to suppress a wide grin. A 4th Order monster actually dropped a golden chest. Waking up in a foul mood had paid off. She used all the experience cards at once. Congratulations, player level up to LV.6. Current level, 6350/2560. Rewards, 5 free attribute points, 5 times minor mana restoration potion. As usual, she allocated all attribute points to attack. Her base attack now stood at 16 points. After resting for a while, Yun Huaishi opened the regional chat channel to check how other players were faring. The channel was in an uproar, messages scrolling too fast to read clearly. Huaxia, Wanyan, damn it. Everyone wake up. Phantom ships have spawned across the sea. I nearly got hacked down by a horde of skeletons just now. Luckily, I stocked up on health potions beforehand. I barely escaped by diving off my raft. Flower State, Jack, help. My wooden raft got smashed. These skeleton monsters are nearly impossible to kill. Can anyone come rescue me? Rock State, Park Ilsang, damn it. What is this game trying to do? I don't have any weapons. I can only hide behind crates, and they're closing in fast. Yun Huaishi raised an eyebrow. It seemed the phantom ships were a system emergency event activated tonight, attacking every player indiscriminately. The game offered zero leeway for players who had not built up their foundations. She closed the chat channel and stood, her eyes falling on the massive sailing vessel still wedged against the side of her yacht. All monsters aboard had been cleared. The ship was now an unclaimed bounty. I've come all this way. I'd hate to waste the effort without looting everything on board. Gripping her shark bone knife, Yun Huaishi stepped onto the rotting wooden planks, bridging the 2 vessels, and carefully crossed onto the phantom ship's deck. A thick stench of seawater and decaying flesh hung heavy in the air. The wooden planks beneath her feet felt spongy, as though treading on muck, oozing black sludge with every step. Pinching her nose, she advanced into the phantom ship's hold, guided by the beam of her yacht's searchlight. The hold was pitch black, the air piercingly cold. Dozens of broken barrels were stacked in the corners. Yun Huaishi walked over and sliced one open with her knife. Clatter. Dozens of chunks of refined iron and piles of planks spilled out. Every little bit counts. She swept all the materials into her inventory without hesitation. After splitting open more than a dozen barrels, she collected a total of 150 refined iron chunks, 80 planks, plus 3 bottles of unspoiled rum. She ventured deeper, arriving at a room resembling the captain's cabin. The door hung ajar, wafting a moldy odor outward. Yun Huaishi raised her leg and kicked the door fully open. At the center of the room, atop a desk, rested an antique bronze combination lockbox carved with intricate patterns, faintly shimmering with blue light. It was undoubtedly something valuable. Yun Huaishi hurried forward, stretching out her hand, yet before her fingers could touch the edge of the box, thud. 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 Low, resonant booms echoed from the cabin floor beneath her feet. The sound was so powerful the entire phantom ship shook violently, nearly sending the lockbox sliding off the table. It sounded as if an enormous creature trapped in the cargo hold below was slamming against the deck, desperate to break free. Yun Huaishi froze, pulling her hand back at once. She tightened her grip on the knife handle, staring warily at the floorboards beneath her. Thud, crack. The thick planks finally failed under the assault, splitting open along a massive fissure. The next instant, a gigantic claw covered in green scales, as thick as a water bucket, burst through the crack and clamped tight around Yun Huaishi's ankle. Damn! Yun Huaishi cursed under her breath. The strength in the claw was staggering, dragging her relentlessly toward the fissure like iron pincers. Mucus coating the scales seeped onto her skin, bringing a burning, stinging sensation. There was no time to hesitate. She held the shark bone knife firmly with both hands, twisted her waist, and slashed hard down at the green-scaled claw. Clang! Sparks flew as the bone knife struck the scales. The impact sent a jolt up her wrists, leaving only a faint white mark on the tough hide. This creature's defenses were incredible. The claw's owner grew and raged. A deafening roar rumbled up from the cargo hold, and the dragging force intensified. Yun Huaishi was pulled forward, nearly slamming her chin against the splintered planks. You asked for this. Gritting her teeth, she pressed her palm flat against the back of the claw with her left hand. Summon lightning. Boom. Thunder erupted within the cramped cabin. Blinding purple light lit up every corner. A bolt of lightning as thick as a thigh surged from her palm, striking the green claw point blank. The acrid smell of burnt flesh filled the air. The claw convulsed violently and finally released its grip. Seizing the chance, Yun Huaishi pushed off against the edge of the fissure and scrambled backward 2 meters. The floorboards creaked ominously, spreading cracks like a spiderweb across the wood. A colossal beast forced its way up through the opening. It was a mutated lizard larger than an elephant, its body covered in heavy dark green scales, a row of sharp bony spines running down its back. Most terrifying of all, it possessed 3 heads, 6 bean-sized green eyes locking firmly onto Yun Huaishi. A system panel popped into view. 5th Order Mutated 3-Headed Abyss Lizard, 1,500 health points. Extremely high physical defense. Can spew venom. Target struck by venom lose 10 health points per second for 15 seconds. This phantom ship was hiding such a terrifying monster below decks? Yun Huaishi stared at its lengthy health bar, a chill running down her spine. The middle head of the lizard opened its massive jaws, and a stream of green venom shot forth like a high-pressure water cannon. Yun Huaishi rolled sideways to dodge. Where the venom splashed against the wooden wall, a large hole corroded instantly, hissing white smoke. My box. A glance from the corner of her eye revealed the bronze lockbox sliding toward the fissure, tipped by the ship's violent rocking. If it fell into the black water below, she would never retrieve it. She raised her right hand, green light flickering in her palm. Vine entangle. A thick vine burst upward through the planks, coiling around the lockbox like a tentacle. With a sharp tug, it hauled the crate safely into her arms. Without pausing to inspect it, she stuffed the box straight into her inventory. Trying to steal my loot? I won't rest until I cut you down. Space inside the cabin was far too confined to maneuver freely, and she risked falling through broken planks at any moment. Yun Huaishi turned and sprinted out of the captain's cabin, leaping back onto the spacious main deck of the phantom ship. Roar! Enraged by its escaping prey, the 3-headed lizard crashed through the cabin door, sending splinters flying. It advanced like a bulldozer. Its immense weight made the phantom ship's deck sink lower with every step. Yun Huaishi put distance between them and hurled a shadow ball. The black energy orb slammed into the lizard's left head and exploded with a bang. -45. When the damage number floated into view, Yun Huaishi's expression darkened. Her base attack combined with her bone knife reached 46 points, yet the shadow ball dealt so little damage. Both its physical and magical resistance were absurdly high. Stung by the hit, the lizard raised all 3 heads at once. 3 streams of venom sprayed outward in a fan, blocking every possible escape route. Yun Huaishi could not fully evade. She raised her arm to shield her face. Venom splattered across her clothing, burning straight through the fabric. A searing pain spread across her skin. Health -10, health -10. Her health bar dropped rapidly before her eyes. While retreating, Yun Huaishi pulled a minor health potion from her backpack and chugged it, stabilizing her fading health. Tough armor, huh? Let's see how well you defend inside your mouth. Yun Huaishi's gaze sharpened. Instead of fleeing, she charged straight toward the lizard. Seeing its prey rushing toward it, the middle head opened wide, ready to swallow her whole. The instant its jaws stretched to their limit, Yun Huaishi skidded to a halt. Blinding white light erupted from her right palm. Holy slash! The crescent light blade flew true, slicing straight into the unprotected soft tissue inside the lizard's mouth. Squelch! The light blade cut through flesh like butter, piercing all the way through the back of its skull. Weak point strike triggered. 300% critical damage. -480. The lizard's middle head slumped limply forward, green blood gushing out like a fountain. Driven utterly berserk, the remaining two heads thrashed wildly. Its enormous tail swept sideways like a whip. Boom! The tail collided with the phantom ship's main mast. The trunk, thick enough that several people linking arms could barely encircle it, snapped cleanly, crashing through the deck. Already rotting, the phantom ship let out an unsettling groan under the assault and began sinking rapidly. Seawater flooded inward through every breach. This wreck is going down. Black water rose around Yun Huaishi's feet. Glancing between the raging lizard and the rising tides, she resolved to finish the fight quickly. She pointed a hand forward. Vine and tangle. 3 vines burst up from the water, binding the lizard's limbs tight. The lizard strained against them. The vines creaked, ready to snap. They could only hold it for 2 seconds at most. 2 seconds would be enough. Yun Huaishi ran along the tilting deck, gathering momentum as she leaped high. She drove the tip of her shark bone knife straight into the eye of the lizard's right head. Squelch! The entire blade sank into the eye socket. The lizard convulsed in agony. Yun Huaishi clung tight to the knife handle and pressed her left palm against its forehead. Have a taste of lightning. Summon lightning. Violet-blue lightning descended from above. Conducted through the bone knife, the electric damage surged directly into the lizard's brain. -369. 15% paralysis effect triggered. The lizard froze mid-movement, wreathed in smoke. Yun Huaishi pulled her knife free and slashed twice more at its neck, draining the last of its health. Ding! Congratulations on slaying the 5th Order Mutated Abyss Lizard. Rewards received: 2 times 5th Order Experience Cards, 3 times Mutated Venom Sacs, 10 times Lizard Hard Scales, 1 times Silver Treasure Chest. Phew. Yun Huaishi exhaled heavily, wiping seawater and sweat from her face. The phantom ship beneath her tilted nearly 40 degrees, moments away from vanishing beneath the waves. She dared not linger. Climbing onto the railing, she jumped and landed steadily back on her yacht's deck. Splash! Behind her, the colossal beast and the crumbling sailing vessel vanished into the dark sea, leaving only churning bubbles on the surface. Yun Huaishi collapsed onto her yacht, gasping for air. Her clothes were tattered from the venom burns, red inflamed wounds covering her arms. She drank another health potion and watched her health bar refill, finally feeling recovered. Late-night adventures are truly exhausting. She pulled out all the experience cards and used them. Congratulations, player level up to LV.7. Current level, 7850/5120. Rewards, 5 free attribute points, 5 times minor mana restoration potion. Following her usual habit, she assigned all points to attack. Her base attack rose to 21 points. Once she sorted out her status, Yun Huaishi eagerly pulled the antique bronze lockbox from her inventory. The crate felt heavy, etched with intricate patterns. A 3-digit combination dial sat at the lock. Antique bronze lockbox, treasure hidden by the phantom captain. Input password hint: the year of his favorite rum or force open 30% chance to damage contents inside. The year of his rum? Yun Huaishi paused. She recalled the 3 bottles of rum she had collected earlier after splitting open barrels in the cabin. She rummaged through her backpack and pulled one out. The yellowed label on the bottle read 1688. The password only takes 3 digits, but this year has 4 numbers. Yun Huaishi frowned. She tried entering 688 and 168, yet the box remained locked. Puzzles. Do they really expect me to have endless patience? She tossed the bottle aside, grabbed her shark bone knife, and aimed at the lock. Forcing the box open risked damaging the contents, but she possessed the lucky moment talent. She doubted her luck would fail her. Yun Huaishi gripped the shark bone knife with both hands and hacked fiercely at the lock of the bronze crate. Clang! The copper lock flew off, skittering several meters across the deck. The lid sprang open a crack, no smoke rose, and nothing cracked inside. Yun Huaishi loosened her hold on the knife and shook out her tingling wrists. Thankfully, I didn't destroy whatever's inside. She flipped the lid fully open. There were no piles of gold and jewels within. Resting inside were a rolled blueprint, a purple glowing ship wheel, and a sack heavy with gold coins. Obtained blueprint. Primary magical energy cannon ×1. Obtained phantom ship will purple grade ×1. Obtained gold coins ×500. Currency marketplace not yet unlocked. Gold coins have been automatically deposited into personal account. Yun Huaishi picked up the cannon blueprint first. Primary magical energy cannon can be mounted on ship decks. Each shot consumes 10 mana points or 1 times fire spirit orb. Base damage 300, explosion radius 5 meters, 30 second cooldown. Crafting materials: 50 refined iron, 5 fire spirit orbs, 10 gears. Fixed 300 area damage. Once mounted, she would no longer need to target sea monsters one by one when facing large swarms. Yun Huaishi immediately opened the crafting panel and prepared to confirm construction, yet 2 lines of red text lit up the materials column. Fire Spirit Orb, 0 out of 5. Gear, 5 out of 10. Her smile faded. She had used her previous Fire Spirit Orbs to boost her abilities, and few gears remained after building her yacht. She held the blueprint yet lacked half the required materials. Yun Huaishi stared at the prompt for a moment, then suddenly remembered the golden treasure chest still sitting in her inventory. It had dropped from the Phantom Skeleton Captain. Chaos from the sinking Phantom ship had kept her busy fleeing and claiming the lockbox, making her completely forget about it. I nearly overlooked my biggest prize. She took out the golden treasure chest and opened it directly. Golden light spilled from the seams, and multiple system notifications popped up one after another. Obtained Fire Spirit Orb ×8. Obtained Gear ×6. Obtained Intermediate Mana Restoration Potion ×3. Obtained Magic Crystal ×1. The materials were now complete. Glancing at her luck stat, Yun Huaishi felt a surge of satisfaction. She stored excess supplies in her warehouse and tapped craft once more. Materials deducted successfully. Crafting Primary Magical Energy Cannon. White light converged on the yacht's forward deck, gradually forming the outline of the cannon. After more than 10 seconds, a dark heavy magical energy cannon settled firmly onto the bow. Its barrel was as thick as a thigh, covered in dark red magical runes. Yun Huaishi placed her hand against the cannon body. The barrel rotated to follow her gaze. And a control option for ship-mounted weapons appeared on her system panel. She did not waste mana test, firing it, only running a full loading self-check. Weapon status: normal. Available shots remaining: 38 mana. Yun Huaishi nodded in satisfaction, then picked up the purple, grade ship wheel. Phantom ship wheel can replace current steering device. Boosts vessel sailing speed by 15%. Grants a 10% chance to automatically evade reefs and whirlpools. This time, she did not attempt to yank it out forcefully. Instead, she opened the yacht modification interface and selected replacement. A wash of white light swept across the cockpit. The original ship's wheel vanished, and the spectral helm locked firmly into the control console. Purple, black veins spread along the control panel before fading away shortly after. Replacement complete. Current vessel: yacht. Sailing speed increased by 15%. Yun Huaishi glanced at the system time. 5:47. From the moment the ghost ship rammed her vessel to clearing out skeletons, searching the wreck, and slaying the abyss lizard, more than 2 hours had passed. Gray light tinted the horizon. Her assault suit was tattered from venom burns, with lingering scorch marks on several patches of exposed skin. Health potions had restored her hit points, yet they could not mend her clothing or heal surface wounds. She had just opened the chat channel when a system announcement popped up first. The Ghost Tide emergency event has concluded. Notice: the newcomer calm period only weakens ordinary ocean disasters, and does not offer absolute protection against special events. Yun Huaishi's gaze darkened. No wonder the ghost ship could attack players even during the calm period. The 10-day protection merely gave survivors breathing room. It did not mean they could survive without effort. She checked the regional population count. Current survivors in region, 71,204/100,000. Nearly 30,000 people had vanished in a single night. The chat channel flooded with cries for help and despairing shouts. Huaxiali Si. The raft next to me got hacked apart by skeletons. The guy fell overboard and never resurfaced. Flower Nation Tom. I have no food or planks. Can anyone save me? Rock Nation Kim Ji-yoon. My leg won't stop bleeding. Please sell me a potion. The channel that had been packed with 100,000 players yesterday was almost 30% emptier. Yoon Huaishi stared at the number for a while before opening her private message to Wanyan. Huaxia008, still alive? Wanyan replied almost instantly. Alive. Thanks to the health potions you traded me earlier. I blocked several strikes with wooden crates and chugged potions to dive into the sea and hide half the night. I nearly froze to death. Huaxia008, do you have clean clothes? Mine are ruined by venom. Huaxia, Wanyan, I've got a set of women's assault gear, looted from a crate. Just give me some food in exchange. Yoon Huaishi sent over 2 loaves of bread and a bottle of water. Once the trade finished, she used purified water to clean her wounds, sprinkled some hemostatic spore powder, and changed into the black assault suit. It fit perfectly and blocked the wind better than her old tracksuit. She ate a loaf of bread, finished the remaining half bottle of water, and headed for the fuel compartment. No matter how good the yacht was, it would drift aimlessly without fuel. Yoon Huaishi opened the fuel blueprint she had caught the previous day. Fuel refining. Any item may serve as raw material. The quality and quantity of materials affect output volume. She took 10 planks, 30 refined iron ingots, and an obsolete white-grade iron sword out of her storage, and placed everything into the synthesis station. The machine hummed for a moment and pushed out 2 metal barrels. Obtained low-grade fuel times 20 liters. Each liter of low-grade fuel allows the current yacht to travel 10 nautical miles. Yoon Huaishi poured 5 liters into the fuel tank and stored the remaining 15 liters in her inventory. She returned to the cockpit, gripped the spectral helm, and started the engine. A low rumble echoed from the stern. The yacht cut through the sea, churning swathes of white surf. The purple-grade helm was far more responsive than the original controls. The massive vessel no longer turned sluggishly. Yoon Huaishi confirmed her artillery, potions, and skills were all ready for use before activating Lucky Moment. An invisible detection radius expanded outward from the yacht. 5 green markers, 3 yellow markers, and 2 red markers materialized. Within a 1-kilometer range. She was about to target the nearest red marker when an unfamiliar color flickered at the edge of her detection zone. Purple. The purple marker sat at the farthest boundary of her scan, flickering on and off as if it might disappear at any second. Yoon Huaishi attempted to click it. Special Resource Node. Threat Level, Unknown. May contain hidden quests, special creatures, or rare resources. The word unknown put her on guard, yet she refused to retreat. Ordinary resources could be traded, but hidden quests might never appear again once missed. She possessed ship-mounted artillery for combat skills and health potions in her backpack. She had the means to investigate. I'll observe from a distance first. If things go wrong, I pull back. Yoon Huaishi turned the helm, steering the yacht toward the purple marker. Less than 2 minutes later, a thick bank of white fog blanketed the waters ahead. The mist blocked sunlight, visibility dropped below 10 meters, and the surrounding temperature plummeted. Yoon Huaishi immediately slowed down and switched on the bow searchlight. The beam only penetrated a few meters before being swallowed by roiling fog. Clink, clink, the sound of chains scraping against reefs drifted from within the mist. Once, then again. Yoon Huaishi rested her hand on the artillery control panel and let the yacht creep forward at minimum speed. 3 minutes later, sea wind tore open a section of fog, revealing a black rocky islet ahead. The island was small, roughly half the size of a football field. No vegetation grew upon it. Only jagged black rock formations. A thick wooden post jutted from the shallow shoreline, and a figure was chained tightly to it. The person hung their head, long hair covering their face. Their white shirt was tattered, and their lower body submerged in frigid seawater. Every crash of waves dragged the chains against the reef, producing a shrill grating noise. Yoon Huaishi anchored the yacht dozens of meters offshore, refusing to approach recklessly. Player or NPC? She tried to activate the system scan, yet only a row of question marks hovered above the figure's head. As if hearing the engine noise, the chained person slowly lifted their head. Beneath damp long hair lay an ashen, bloodless face. The figure stared straight at Yun Huaishi, mouth stretching little by little into a stiff, eerie grin. "Run," a hoarse voice carried through the sea fog. "It's beneath your ship." The words had barely faded when a tremendous force slammed upward against the bottom of the yacht. The entire vessel lurched violently upward. The deck shook wildly. Yun Huaishi's feet left the ground, and she clung tightly to the cockpit door frame to avoid being thrown into the ocean. "What the hell is that?" The yacht's alarm blared frantically. Regaining her balance, Yun Huaishi glanced beneath the ship, and a chill ran down her spine. The once deep blue seawater had turned into opaque black ink. A massive shadow, twice as large as the yacht, wriggled directly against the hull. Splash! The surface erupted. For tree, thick dark red tentacles burst out of the water, reeking of rot, and crashed straight onto the yacht's railings. The iron railings crumpled like soft clay under the impact. Suckers the size of basins lined the tentacles, lined with countless sharp fangs gnawing relentlessly at the metal deck plating. The system panel popped up directly in front of her eyes. 6th Order Deep Sea Mag Octopus, HP 3000. Extremely high physical defense. Tentacles deliver powerful constriction and sucker corrosion. Targets trapped by suckers lose 20 HP per second. 3000 HP, plus corrosion damage. Yun Huaishi eyed the thick tentacles. Getting wrapped by one would leave nothing but broken remains. The purple resource node was clearly no place for easy rewards. The man chained to the reef post shouted again, "Get away. Its main body is down below. It will tear your ship apart." "Quiet. I just got this yacht. Don't think you can wreck it." Yun Huaishi had no intention of fleeing. She released her grip on the door frame and strode toward the mana artillery mounted at the bow. Sensing her intentions, one tentacle rose high and swung downward toward her with a howling gust of wind. "Back off." Yun Huaishi raised her left hand and cast lightning summons. Boom! A bolt of purple lightning struck the tentacle mid-air. 123. Damage numbers floated upward. The tentacle charred black, convulsing and freezing mid-strike. Paralysis effect triggered. Seizing the 2-second window, Yun Huaishi pulled a fire spirit orb from her backpack and loaded it into the mana artillery. She gripped the handles behind the barrel and aimed straight at the largest shadow beneath the waves. Taste the wrath of a well-equipped player. She pressed the firing trigger. Dark red mana runes covering the artillery blazed with blinding light. Boom! A deafening blast sent the yacht sliding half a meter backward from recoil. A blazing fireball the size of a watermelon shot from the barrel and slammed into the ink-black seawater. After a brief silence, the ocean floor erupted like an underwater depth charge. Crash! A towering water column burst upward, carrying mangled flesh and green blood more than 10 meters into the air. 500. A massive red damage value hovered above the waves. The mag octopus let out an ear-splitting shriek, releasing its grip on the yacht. Its enormous main body surfaced. It was a giant fleshy mass with 8 eyes. A charred, gaping hole burned into its head, oozing green blood nonstop. "This artillery is incredible." Yun Huaishi's eyes lit up. All the trouble she went through to obtain the blueprint was worth it. The mag octopus flew into a rage. 8 eyes locked onto the yacht. Its 6 remaining tentacles lashed the surface violently, churning 2-meter waves as its mountain-sized body charged forward. Yun Huaishi sprinted back to the cockpit and twisted the spectral helm hard. The power of the purple, grayed helm revealed itself. The yacht's engine roared, and the vessel swerved sharply left at an improbable angle, sliding cleanly past the Megoctopus's tentacles. Automatic evasion triggered. Kiting monsters is child's play. Yun Huaishi stood in the cockpit doorway, casting lightning summons with her left hand, and shadow orb with her right, bombarding the mag octopus relentlessly. 123. 85. The beast's huge body made dodging impossible. Convulsing under repeated lightning strikes, it endured constant explosive damage from shadow orbs. Enraged, it spewed a cloud of black ink to block vision. "Trying to cover your tracks?" Yun Huaishi let out a cold laugh and clasped her hands together. Holy slash! A crescent of white light sliced straight through the black ink, landing precisely on the charred wound the artillery had torn open earlier. Light, base skills dealt amplified damage to such dark abominations. 350. Weak point strike triggered. The Megoctopus's HP plummeted below 1,000. Realizing it could not win, it coiled its tentacles and attempted to dive back into the deep sea. Think you can run? Not before facing my cannon. Yun Huaishi rushed back to the bow, loaded another fire spirit orb, lowered the barrel, and aimed at the Magoctopus as it descended. Boom! Another mana artillery shell fired. The fireball detonated underwater, boiling the surrounding seawater. 500. The Megoctopus's HP hit 0. Its massive body floated upward belly up, 8 eyes dull and lifeless. Ding! Congratulations on slaying the 6th Order Deep Sea Magoctopus. Obtained 6th Order Experience card ×2, Magoctopus Tentacle ×10, Deep Sea Ink ×5, Purple Crystal Treasure Chest ×1. A purple crystal treasure chest. At the sight of the large chest shimmering with mysterious purple light on the waves, Yun Huaishi instantly forgot the sting of expending fire spirit orbs. This fight was a huge gain. She waved her hand, storing the chest and all dropped materials into her inventory. Then activated both experience cards. Congratulations, player. Level up to level 8. Current level, 8-10-50/10240. Reward, 5 free attribute points, intermediate mana recovery potion ×3. A warm surge washed over her body, instantly refilling all consumed mana. Yun Huaishi allocated all attribute points to attack. Her base attack power now reached 26 points. With the monster eliminated, Yun Huaishi turned the helm and guided the yacht slowly toward the rocky islet. The wooden post still stood on the shore. The chained man hung his head, gasping heavily. The seawater churned violently by the Magoctopus soaked him from head to toe. His white shirt clung tightly to his frame, revealing several deep, lash-shaped wounds beneath the fabric. Yun Huaishi did not rush to disembark. Standing on the deck with her shark bone blade in hand, she studied the man carefully. Living player encounters were rare in this game. To suddenly find an NPC at a purple resource node felt deeply suspicious. Hey, you still breathing? Yun Huaishi kicked the railing. The man slowly lifted his head. Yun Huaishi got a clear look at his face at last. He appeared young, with sharply defined features. Even soaked and disheveled like a waterlogged corpse, his ash-gray eyes held an indefinable cold edge. He looked at Yun Huaishi, then at the mana artillery mounted on the yacht's bow. His voice scraped like rough sandpaper. You killed it. Obviously. Should I have kept it around? Yun Huaishi leaned against the railing, speaking bluntly. Who are you? How did you end up chained to this rock? Who are you? How did you end up chained to this rock? The man swallowed hard, his throat emitting a dry rasp. Huaxia Lu Yuan. I'm a player. Hearing he was a fellow countryman, Yun Huaishi raised an eyebrow. Few players had survived the first several days of this game, let alone someone used as bait at a purple resource node. Quite a unique predicament. Who chained you here? As she spoke, Yun Huaishi cast Vine Bind. Thick vines crawled across the reef and wrapped around Lu Yuan's chains. Yun Huaishi pulled hard. The water, rotted wooden post creaked and snapped. The vines coiled around Lu Yuan, hauling him and his chains onto the yacht's deck. Lu Yuan crashed onto the metal plating and let out a pained groan. He struggled to sit up, staring at the 1,000-square-meter steel yacht and the black barrel of the bow artillery. Shock washed over his face. This is supposed to be a raft survival game? He stared at Yun Huaishi as if gazing at someone using cheats. Everyone else scraped by building beds from wooden planks, yet this woman sailed a yacht equipped with heavy artillery. Yun Huaishi pulled a bottle of purified water and half a cold loaf of bread from her backpack and tossed them to him. Eat. Once you're done, tell me everything about this purple resource node. Starving, Lu Yuan twisted open the bottle and chugged half its contents, shoving the bread into his mouth in a few bites until he choked. After catching his breath, he leaned against the railing to recuperate. A coalition of Flower Nation and Sakura Nation players. Lu Yuan gritted his teeth, fury burning in his ash-gray eyes. There were more than a dozen of them on 3 large wooden ships. They ambushed me with nets last night and captured me. They claimed this stretch of ocean held a purple resource node, and the scent of living human flesh was needed to draw out the guardian monster. So they chained you here and waited far away to collect the loot? Yun Huaishi chuckled. Their plan is audible all the way across the Pacific. But how did they know this purple node existed? She had only discovered the location thanks to her lucky moment talent and reaching level 8. How did they find it? Lu Yuan brushed breadcrumbs from his lips. Their leader is Jack. He possesses a regional nautical chart. It's a purple, Grade item that marks all high-tier resource nodes within a 50 nautical mile radius. They've been raiding nonstop using that chart. A nautical chart? Yun Huaishi's eyes lit up instantly. That was exactly what she needed, a way to locate resources across wide distances. Her talent was powerful, yet its detection range remained limited and carried a cooldown. If she could seize that chart, she could sail freely across the ocean, snatching rare resources everywhere. Buddy, this information is extremely valuable. Yun Huaishi stroked her chin, tapping her fingers rhythmically against the artillery barrel. Lu Yuan watched her greedy expression and issued a warning. Don't go after them. They have numbers, crossbows, and firearms. Their 3 wooden ships are reinforced with iron plating on the bows. A direct collision could seriously damage your yacht. Damage my yacht? Yun Huaishi patted the artillery barrel and smiled like a schemer. Ask this cannon whether it will allow that. As the two talked, Yun Huaishi's radar suddenly flickered. 3 red markers advanced rapidly from the fog's edge, heading straight for the rocky islet. Yun Huaishi turned toward the sea as wind dispersed more mist. On the horizon, 3 large 3-masted wooden ships cut through the waves. Thick iron plating covered their bows, and more than a dozen outfitted players stood on each deck. A skull-marked Flower Nation flag flew from the mast of the lead vessel. They're back. Lu Yuan's expression darkened. He clenched his tattered shirt instinctively. They must have calculated the timing. They think the mag octopus has finished feeding and came to claim the spoils. Claim the spoils? Today I'll teach them what it means to walk straight into a trap. Yun Huaishi showed no fear. She walked to the artillery, pulled 3 fire spirit orbs from her backpack, and tossed them in her hand. The 3 wooden ships soon closed to less than 50 meters from the yacht. They clearly had not expected a sleek modern steel yacht to be anchored beside the islet where the 6th Order mag octopus was supposed to lurk. 3 wooden boats quickly spread out, forming a semi-encircling formation to block the yacht in the middle. Standing on the bow of the lead vessel was a burly white man with blonde hair and blue eyes. In his hand, he clutched a long-handled battle axe shimmering with blue light, and a string of teeth from some unknown monster hung around his neck. "Hey, you Chinese woman up there!" Jack shouted in broken Chinese, his voice echoing across the sea. "You're lucky to be alive. Where's the magic octopus? Did you get the purple crystal treasure chest?" Yun Huaishi stood at the edge of the deck with her arms folded, looking down at him from above. "I've got it." "So what? You want me to write you a receipt?" Jack failed to grasp the joke about the receipt, but he understood that she held the chest. His greedy gaze swept over the yacht's sleek hull and the magic energy cannon. And he could barely contain his eagerness. "Chinese woman, this is a survival game, and strength rules all." Jack lifted his battle axe and pointed it at Yun Huaishi. "Hand over the chest and transfer control of the ship to me. For God's sake, I'll let you stay aboard to work as a deckhand. As for that useless man surnamed Liu, toss him overboard for the fish." Players from the Sakura Nation and the United States on the other 2 boats jeered alongside him. Some even raised their crossbows, aiming the tips of the bolts straight at Yun Huaishi's head. Lu Yuan stood behind Yun Huaishi, grinding his teeth. "You can't fight all of them alone. They have ranged weapons. I'll block the arrows for you, steer the boat and flee." "Flee?" Yun Huaishi glanced back at him as if he were an idiot. "My cannon barrel's practically gathering rust, and you want me to run?" She turned back toward Jack, who was still posturing below. Her voice was quiet yet piercing. "You want my ship? Fine. Come and take it yourself. But I'm not an easy person to deal with. Hand over your regional nautical chart as a toll, and I might consider leaving your bodies intact." Jack's face darkened. He never expected this lone woman to be so brazen. "You're asking for trouble. Shoot her." Jack waved his arm. Whoosh! 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 More than a dozen cold crossbow bolts streaked over from the 2 opposing boats. Yun Huaishi did not move an inch. She swept her right hand through the air. Vine entanglement. Dense, thick vines burst forth along the edge of the yacht's deck, instantly weaving into a solid green wall mid-air. The bolts thudded firmly into the vines, not even brushing the hem of Yun Huaishi's clothes. "A mage." Jack froze for a moment before sneering. "A mage won't last forever. Your mana will run dry. Steer forward and ram her. Smash that metal boat to pieces." The engines of the 3 wooden boats roared at once. Iron plating on their bows glinted harshly in the sunlight as they charged toward the yacht like enraged bulls. The 50-meter distance closed in the blink of an eye. "Foolish." Yun Huaishi let out a cold huff, shoving a fire spirit bead straight into the breech of the magic energy cannon. She gripped the cannon handles, lowering the barrel to lock firmly onto the lead Sakura Nation wooden boat. Boom! Dark red magic runes covering the cannon lit up, and a deafening crash tore through the sea breeze. A blazing fireball trailed a long plume of flame, tracing a deadly arc through the air before slamming dead center onto the opposing vessel's deck. Crash! A violent explosion erupted, sending flames surging skyward. The seemingly sturdy wooden boat crumpled like paper beneath the cannon's power. A 3-meter-wide hole was blown through its deck, with splinters and broken wreckage flew everywhere. The Sakura Nation players aboard did not even have time to scream. Incinerated on the spot, the vessel and its passengers began sinking rapidly into the sea. Silence fell over the water. The remaining 2 boats lurched to an abrupt halt less than 20 meters from the yacht. All momentum vanished. Jack's arrogant expression froze completely. Staring at the smoldering, sinking wreck beside him, his throat tightened, and he could not utter a single word. Standing behind Yun Huaishi, Lu Yuan stared at the cannon and swallowed the suggestion to flee that he had just voiced. This firepower was simply unreasonable. Why stop? Yun Huaishi patted the cannon barrel and smiled at Jack. Keep charging. I've still got 2 more rounds to deliver. Why don't you lot decide who goes first? The sea wind whipped past, and Jack's face alternated between ashen and crimson. He glanced at the wreckage still bubbling under the waves, then at the glowing red fire spirit bead in Yun Huaishi's hand. He swallowed hard. Damn it. Don't get cocky. Jack stepped back, hiding behind wooden planks on the bow, and snarled at his men in a low voice. Open fire. Fill her with lead. Then turn the boat and retreat. Several American players scrambled to raise their flintlock firearms, black barrels aimed squarely at the yacht. Trying to run? Yun Huaishi sneered. She did not give them the chance to fire. She slammed another fire spirit bead into the breech and swiveled the cannon toward Jack's flagship. Boom! Another magic energy shell struck home. At this closer range, the projectile landed directly beneath the ship's mast. The blast wave ripped the deck apart. Several gun-toting players were hurled skyward, screaming as they plunged into the ocean. Jack survived, shielded by thick iron plating, yet the shockwave left him dizzy and disoriented. He lay sprawled on the tilting deck, watching seawater flood the cabin, rage blazing in his eyes. You witch! I'll kill you! He raised his blue, glowing battle axe and leaped from the wooden boat. Hoping to close the short gap between vessels, he aimed to board the yacht and engage Yun Huaishi in close combat. You dare come closer? Yun Huaishi did not even bother firing the cannon. She lifted her left hand. Lightning summons. Crack, boom. Violet, blue lightning materialized out of thin air and struck Jack squarely on the top of his head. 123. Suspended mid-leap, Jack convulsed violently, every strand of his hair standing on end. He crashed onto the yacht's iron railing before bouncing down onto the deck. Cough, you. Black smoke poured from Jack's mouth. His health bar lingered at less than half. The burly man boasted impressive constitution. Yun Huaishi walked over and looked down at him, twirling her shark, bone knife in her grip. You dare rob me? You picked the worst day to try your luck. Don't kill me. I'll hand over the nautical chart. I've got piles of supplies. Panic finally washed over Jack. He scrambled backward across the deck. Killing you means all your belongings become mine anyway. Yun Huaishi brought the knife down, driving the bone blade straight into his neck. His health bar emptied. Jack's body dissolved into white light and vanished. A glowing purple parcel, a silver treasure chest, and several experience cards dropped where he had lain. The last remaining American wooden boat fled in terror upon seeing their leader slain. The crew spun the wheel frantically to escape. If you leave threats unaddressed, trouble will return. Yun Huaishi watched the boat sail dozens of meters away and pressed her palms together. Holy light slash. A massive crescent light blade skimmed across the sea surface and sliced into the stern of the fleeing vessel. The rudder shattered instantly. The ship lost all control and spun aimlessly on the waves. Yun Huaishi paid it no further mind. Adrift on open water without power, the crew would inevitably become prey for sea monsters. She bent down and picked up Jack's dropped parcel. Opening it, she found the parchment document she sought. Regional Nautical Chart Purple Grade reveals terrain, resource tier markers, and player coordinates within a 50 nautical mile radius. Coordinate display may be toggled on or off. Consumes 1 attribute orb daily to maintain function. Excellent loot. Yun Huaishi unfurled the chart across the control console and inserted a water spirit bead. Faint light spread across the parchment, and dense dots rapidly materialized across its surface. Green, yellow, and red markers stood out clearly, alongside dozens of white dots representing players moving along the map's edges. With this item, she no longer needed to wander blindly. She could actively seek out the most rewarding targets. Lu Yuan stood nearby, watching Yun Huaishi effortlessly defeat her foes and claim their spoils. He pulled his tattered shirt tighter around himself. This woman was ruthless, unhesitant in battle, and far more efficient at seizing resources than any bandit. Lu Yuan cleared his throat. Boss, are you looking for extra hands? I don't demand payment, just regular meals. I studied mechanical engineering before. I can help maintain all the ship's equipment. Yun Huaishi glanced back at him. The man was battered, yet sharp enough to know better than to turn down an opportunity to ally with a stronger survivor. The yacht was far too large to operate alone. Sailing, fighting monsters, and managing supplies all by herself was draining. Earlier, when he had been tied to a pillar, he had warned her about underwater creatures. That counted as a mark of good faith. All right. Yun Huaishi retrieved a set of used sportswear looted from treasure chests out of her backpack and tossed it at his head. Head down to the lower cabin, wash up and change. Then go to the synthesis station and refine fuel from all the junk in my pack. 2 meals a day. Extra portions for good work. If you harbor any malicious intentions toward me, I'll load you straight into the cannon and fire you out to sea. Understood. I'll stay completely honest. Lu Yuan was overjoyed. He clutched the clothes and hurried toward the lower cabin. Once Lu Yuan was gone, Yun Huaishi rubbed her hands together and turned her gaze toward the purple crystal treasure chest resting on the deck. This was the premium chest dropped by the 6th-tier magic octopus. Let's see what treasures this purple crystal chest holds. She slapped her palm against the lid. Ding! Purple crystal treasure chest opened successfully. Obtained intermediate ability upgrade scroll ×1. Obtained yacht autopilot module purple grade ×1. Obtained high grade life potion ×5. Obtained fine iron ×500, copper ore ×200, electronic components ×50. Obtained blueprint. Automatic seafood processing station ×1. The string of system notifications made Yun Huaishi grin widely. I've struck it rich. First, she picked up the autopilot module. Yacht autopilot module, after installation, set navigation routes using the nautical chart. The yacht will sail automatically and cooperate with the ghost rudder to evade 90% of ordinary obstacles. Yun Huaishi hurried to the wheelhouse and fitted the module onto the console. The screen flickered and a new auto cruise button appeared. She was finally free from constant steering. Next came the intermediate ability upgrade scroll. Promote any one primary skill to intermediate rank, drastically boosting its power. Without hesitation, Yun Huaishi selected her lightning skill, Lightning Summons. Ding! Upgrade complete. Learned intermediate skill, Roaring Thunderfall. Roaring Thunderfall consumes 80 mana. Summon a 3-second thunderstorm over a designated area. Each strike deals 400% of your attack power as magic damage, with a 30% chance to inflict mass paralysis. Area of effect damage. Yun Huaishi cheered. Previously, she could only strike targets one at a time against skeleton warriors. Now a single thunderstorm could reduce groups to ash. The blueprint for the automatic seafood processing station was another fantastic gain. Automatic seafood processing station. Input seafood carcasses for automated shelling, gutting, and slicing. Supports drying or refrigerated storage. Requires connection to a refrigerator. Yun Huaishi immediately constructed the station using the required materials and installed it along the side of the deck. She tossed the magic octopus tentacles she had harvested into the machine. The device hummed. Minutes later, neatly cut portions of premium magic octopus sashimi rolled out onto the conveyor belt. Premium magic octopus sashimi restores 50 HP upon consumption. Grants +5 strength for 1 hour. This living arrangement is perfect. Yun Huaishi picked up a slice and ate it. The meat was springy and carried a faint natural sweetness. Carrying a plate of sashimi, she returned to the wheelhouse to plan her next route. The regional nautical chart lay spread over the table, its markers flickering. Yun Huaishi checked her experience bar. She needed more than 10,000 experience points to reach level 9. Hunting 2nd and 3rd-tier monsters alone would take far too long. I need to seek out high-tier monsters and grow stronger within the final 10 days of the calm period. She swallowed the last slice of magic octopus sashimi and let out a satisfied burp. The food was not only tender and flavorful, it left a warm sensation in her stomach, and her strength stat rose permanently by 5 points on her status panel. She pushed the empty plate aside on the console and stared at the nautical chart covered in glowing markers. The autopilot module had already taken command of the yacht, steadily carrying the vessel toward a high-level red marker 50 nautical miles away. No need to steer herself, life could hardly be better. Yet Yun Huaishi leaned back against the leather seat, tapping her fingers lightly against the table. A nagging feeling lingered. Down in the lower cabin, the machinery Lu Yuan used to refine fuel buzzed continuously. Having someone with mechanical knowledge to handle chores aboard the large yacht saved her plenty of trouble. But there was no way to lock doors in this game. If she fell into deep sleep on her comfortable wooden bed tonight, what was to stop him from sneaking up with a screwdriver to attack her in her rest? Caution was essential, especially in this survival game where desperation drove people to turn on one another. No way I'm getting attacked and looted while I sleep. Yun Huaishi sat upright and opened the regional chat channel. Survivor numbers kept declining, and most messages were desperate pleas for water and food. She skipped idle chatter and posted her offer directly. Huaxia008, selling premium magic octopus sashimi restores 50 HP, plus 5 strength for 1 hour. Not accepting basic materials. Only trading for special items that can enforce behavioral restrictions and prevent betrayal. Send screenshots via private message. Serious inquiries only. The channel erupted instantly after the message appeared. Huaxia Zhongsan, wow. Attribute, boosting food? Boss is eating premium seafood sashimi while I'm stuck moldy bread. Rock Nation, Park Jiangui, nonsense. This must be a scam. How can food boost stats? Huaxia, Wanyan, respect to 008. I don't have the required item, or I'd trade everything I own. Private messages flooded her screen. Most senders tried offering blueprints or metal scraps hoping for an easy bargain, which Yun Huaishi ignored outright. Then an ID named Huaxia, Old Ghost, sent a screenshot. Absolute employment contract purple grade. Once signed, the employee cannot harbor any hostile intent toward the employer. The employer holds absolute power over the employee's life, capable of instant elimination with a single thought. Note, the contract can only be terminated by the employer's voluntary consent. Yun Huaishi's eyes lit up. This was exactly the binding agreement she needed. Huaxia008. I want this item. 2 plates of sashimi for trade. Huaxia, Old Ghost. Deal. This parchment is useless to me anyway. No one dares team up with others in this nightmare game. Filling my stomach matters more. The trade completed instantly. A yellowed parchment appeared in Yun Huaishi's hands. She picked up the contract and walked out of the wheelhouse, descending the metal stairs toward the lower cabin. Lu Yuan had finished washing up and wore the used sportswear Yun Huaishi had given him. He squatted by the synthesis station feeding broken planks into the machinery. He stood quickly upon hearing footsteps and wiped oil off his hands awkwardly. Boss, I've refined 50 liters of fuel already. He maintained a respectful attitude. Yun Huaishi ignored his report and slapped the parchment onto the metal lid of the synthesis station. Read this. Lu Yuan leaned forward to scan the text, and his expression shifted sharply. He lifted his gaze toward Yun Huaishi, his lips parting. Absolute employment contract? Power of life and death over me. That's right. Yun Huaishi dragged over a broken chair and sat down, crossing her legs. I'm a light sleeper. Having another person wandering nearby makes rest impossible. Sign this, and we can both relax. You tend to your work, and I get undisturbed sleep. Lu Yuan let out a bitter laugh. He knew he had no choice. If he refused, the woman standing before him would throw him overboard to feed the magic octopus immediately. He bit his fingertip and pressed a blood fingerprint onto the parchment without hesitation. The parchment glowed red, splitting into 2 fragments that drifted into each of their foreheads. Yun Huaishi checked her system panel. A new entry attached employee, Lu Yuan, had appeared, alongside a blood-red eliminate button. Now she could rest easy. Still, Yun Huaishi was used to traveling alone and valued her private space deeply. Even with Lu Yuan bound by enforced loyalty, she did not want to share living quarters with a man. She stood and walked toward the yacht's stern. You said you studied mechanical engineering, correct? Yun Huaishi gestured toward the sea behind the vessel. I'll provide 200 planks, 50 pieces of fine iron, and plenty of rope. Before sunset, build a 5 square meter towed wooden raft attached to the yacht's stern. Lu Yuan blinked. A towed raft? What for? It will be your living quarters. Yun Huaishi patted his shoulder amiably. The synthesis station and your bedding will both be moved onto the raft. Without my permission, you are forbidden from stepping onto the yacht's main deck. I'll lower your meals down to you on a rope. Work diligently, and food and shelter are guaranteed. Lu Yuan stared at the churning ocean, then upward toward the yacht deck. He swallowed hard. Understood, boss. With all potential risks settled, Yun Huaishi's mood lifted. She returned to her cabin, threw herself onto the soft wooden bed, pulled the quilt over her head, and fell asleep within 5 minutes. She slept soundly through the night. The next morning, a shrill system alarm blared across the entire sea region, jolting Yun Huaishi awake. Global announcement. Global announcement. The 10-day calm period has 3 days remaining. Once the countdown ends, this region will face the first extreme weather event, frigid tempest. A wide stretch of the sea will freeze over by then, and temperatures will plummet to -40 degrees Celsius. All players are advised to stock up on cold, resistant supplies and upgrade the anti-freezing capabilities of their vessels as soon as possible. Good luck to everyone. Yun Huaishi scrambled out of bed and rushed straight to the cockpit without bothering to put on her shoes. The regional chat channel had descended into total chaos. Flora, John, -40 degrees. Are you kidding me? I don't even own a long-sleeve shirt. Sakura, Kamita, where am I supposed to find cold, resistant supplies? My raft still has gaps letting the wind through. Huaxia, Wanyan, we're doomed. I've spent all these days fishing for planks and haven't unlocked any warm clothing or blueprints. Does anyone have a stove blueprint? I'll trade anything for it. Ignoring the panicked cries flooding the channel, Yun Huaishi quickly leaned over to study the regional nautical chart spread across the control console. The chart, once marked only with red, yellow, and green light spots, now featured a massive glaring blue zone along its edges. The blue expanse was spreading toward the center at a visible rate. -40 degrees, Yun Huaishi rubbed her arms. She was only wearing a set of windproof jackets right now. Though the yacht was built of metal sheets, metal conducted heat rapidly. Once temperatures hit -40 degrees, the inside of the yacht would turn into a giant ice cavern. The small stove she had built before could barely heat a 4-square-meter raft. It would be completely ineffective inside the over 1,000-square-meter yacht. She had to source high-grade cold, resistant materials. Her gaze swept across the chart, her finger sliding quickly over its surface. Autopilot had run all night, carrying the yacht deep into an entirely new sea area. Suddenly, her eyes locked onto a point roughly 10 nautical miles straight ahead. There were no red or purple markers there. Instead, an extremely rare orange light flickered, ringed by a pale blue halo. A special weather resource node? Yun Huaishi's eyes lit up. Since the game had issued an extreme cold warning, this resource node wrapped in an blue halo was guaranteed to yield valuable cold, resistant gear. She shoved open the cockpit door and walked toward the stern deck. Lu Yuan had worked fast. Overnight, he had welded a sturdy mixed wood and metal platform onto the yacht's rear, secured firmly with 2 thick iron chains. He was wrapped in a tattered coat, perched on the platform nibbling cold bread. Quit eating. Yun Huaishi called out to him. Go inspect the yacht's engine and top up the fuel. We're going to sail at full speed. Lu Yuan stuffed the remaining bread into his mouth and gave her an okay gesture. Yun Huaishi returned to the cockpit, disengaged autopilot, gripped the ghost helm with both hands, and pushed the throttle all the way forward. Roar, a huge white wake churned behind the yacht. Like a steel beast, it cut through the sea wind and charged straight toward the orange light marker. At full speed, the 10-nautical-mile journey took less than 20 minutes. Temperatures plummeted sharply all around them. White mist curled from Yun Huaishi's every breath. We're here. She slowed the vessel and peered through the cockpit window. No sea monsters guarded treasure chests out on the water ahead. Instead, a massive translucent iceberg, dozens of stories tall, rose from the waves. Frigid cold radiated off the iceberg, and a thin layer of drift ice had already formed across the surrounding seawater. The yacht's bow crunched through the floes with a shrill scraping sound. Yun Huaishi raised binoculars to examine the iceberg closely. One glance made her tighten her grip on the device. The center of the iceberg was not solid. Trapped inside lay the wreck of an enormous, futuristic metal warship. Embedded in the warship's deck was a great sword wreathed in faint blue flames. The orange light emanated directly from this blade. Just as Yun Huaishi prepared to fire her mana cannon to break open the iceberg's outer shell, a deep, dull heartbeat echoed from within the ice. Thud, even through the thick ice, the vibration hummed against the yacht's windows. More than just the warship wreck was sealed inside. Beneath the great sword, a pair of vertical pupils the size of truck cabs, blazing with pale blue fire, slowly opened beneath the ice. Through the heavy sheet of ice, those flame-lit blue vertical pupils locked firmly onto Yun Huaishi. Thud, the dull heartbeat reverberated once more, making the yacht windows tremble gently. A system panel popped open. 7th, rank Cold Abyss Ice Jiao. HP 5000/5000. Current status, consciousness awakened, body sealed. Seal integrity, 100%. Extreme Cold Domain, activates once seal integrity drops below 70%. All creatures within 200 meters take 3 HP damage per second while the domain is active. 7th rank, 5000 health points. After reading the stats, Yun Huaishi's gaze drifted back to the warship wreck and the blue, flaming greatsword trapped within the iceberg. She had come all this way, she could not simply turn around and leave. The ice jiao was awake, but still unable to move its body for now. If she dealt enough damage before it broke free, victory was not out of reach. She rushed to the mana cannon mounted at the bow and opened the loading port. Only one fire spirit pearl remained in her backpack, and she was reluctant to use it. The cannon could fire by consuming mana on its own. She held 380 mana points, and the heart of the ocean regenerated mana continuously. There was no need to waste the rare material. Lu Yuan. Yun Huaishi shouted toward the stern. On the towed auxiliary platform, Lu Yuan had been staring at the iceberg in astonishment. He stood up immediately upon hearing her call. Boss, start the auxiliary thrusters on the platform, and be ready to disconnect the tow cables at any moment. Pull back at least 200 meters if things turn dangerous. Lu Yuan's expression shifted. You're going to fight whatever's inside that ice? Obviously. Do you expect it to climb out and invite me over for a meal if I leave it be? Yun Huaishi channeled 10 mana points into the cannon. Dark red mana runes lit up across the barrel, and waves of scorching heat chased away the surrounding chill. She adjusted the barrel aim toward the thinnest stretch of ice above the ice jiao. Fire! Boom! The cannon blast tore through the sea mist, and recoil forced the yacht to lurch backward. A blazing red mana shell slammed into the iceberg, erupting in a burst of fire. The clash of extreme heat and ice produced an ear-splitting screech. Chunks of ice sprayed outward, crashing into the sea and sending plumes of water surging several meters high. A charred crater formed at the center of the iceberg, with cracks spiderwebbing outward. 500. Cold Abyss Ice Jiao HP, 4500/5000. Seal integrity reduced to 85%. Yun Huaishi frowned at the notification. For the time being, she understood seal integrity as the outer defensive barrier surrounding the jiao. She needed to break through the ice to attack the monster within. The cannon barrel glowed red once again. Another shot. The second mana shell struck squarely inside the crater left by the first blast. The explosion did not expand outward. Instead, it ripped along the internal cracks of the ice. The entire iceberg shuddered violently, and a massive lightning-shaped fissure split it from the peak all the way down to the sea's surface. Beneath the crack, the jiao's deep blue scales came fully into view. -500. Cold Abyss Ice Jiao HP, 4000/5000. Seal integrity reduced to 65%. The next instant, biting cold surged forth from the iceberg. Frost spread rapidly across the yacht railings, and a layer of white ice crystals coated the deck. White mist billowed with every breath Yun Huaishi took, and the cold stung her cheeks. Extreme Cold Domain activated. HP -3. HP -3. A shout came from behind her. Boss, I'm losing health too. Unhook the tow chains and pull back 200 meters immediately. Don't worry about the yacht. The platform carries supplies. Survive first. Understood. The clink of disengaging chains echoed from the stern. Lu Yuan activated the newly fitted auxiliary thrusters, and the small platform streaked away trailing a white wake. Yun Huaishi did not retreat right away. The second blast had breached the ice, exposing part of the ice jiao's body. One more shot could strike the creature directly. She quickly channeled another 10 mana into the cannon and pulled the trigger before the jiao broke free entirely. The third shell hurtled into the fissure. Flame burst against the jiao's scales, tearing off several basin-sized sheets of deep blue plating. Green blood sprayed from the wounds, freezing into strings of emerald ice beads before it could hit the seawater. -500. Cold Abyss Ice Jiao HP 3500/5000. Seal integrity reduced to 50%. Warning: continuous firing has overheated the mana cannon barrel. Entering cooldown phase. The barrel turned dull red, white steam seeping from its seams. A shrill screech echoed from deep within the iceberg. It was the first true cry the Ice Jiao had let out. The sound pierced the mind like shards of ice. Yun Huaishi's eardrums throbbed, and her vision swam. Worse still, the cracks across the iceberg kept widening on their own. The Ice Jiao had fully awakened. Even if she stopped firing now, it would break free from within. Watching the falling blocks of ice, Yun Huaishi finally grasped how the seal mechanic functioned. Her shells damaged the Ice Jiao, but the fiery explosions also melted the ice holding it captive. 3 shots had dealt 1500 damage, yet cut the seal's strength in half. I should have used lightning attacks instead. Yun Huaishi muttered a curse and halted mana flow to the cannon. She could keep firing, but once the Ice Jiao was fully liberated, the fixed-deck cannon might struggle to hit such a fast 7th rank monster. On top of that, the barrel was overheated and unable to fire again anytime soon. Extreme Cold Domain active, HP -3. Current HP, 305/350. Cold seeped through her windproof jacket, burrowing deep into her bones. A thick layer of frost crusted over her gale boots, and every step she took crunched against frozen ice. Yun Huaishi chugged a basic health potion and sprinted toward the cockpit. She needed to put some distance between them. Half the Ice Jiao's body remained trapped in ice. This was her chance to escape the bounds of the extreme cold domain. She had just grabbed hold of the cockpit door frame when a series of sharp cracks erupted from the iceberg behind her. Crack crunch. The Ice Jiao's 2 front claws pierced the ice and pushed outward with brutal force. The upper half of the massive iceberg collapsed entirely. Tons of ice crashed into the sea, generating huge waves that slammed against the yacht's hull. The heavy vessel slid sideways more than 10 meters, sending crates and iron barrels rolling wildly across the deck. Yun Huaishi clung tightly to the door frame and looked up toward the iceberg. A 30-meter-long Cold Abyss Ice Jiao lifted its upper body from the shattered ice. Its lower torso remained trapped within the ice sheet, but its scaled front claws had already hooked onto the iceberg's edge. Each claw was longer than a sedan car, and a light press against the ice split open wide fissures. Seal integrity, 42%. Cold Abyss Ice Jiao breaking free from seal. Estimated time until full liberation, 120 seconds. 2 minutes. Yun Huaishi quickly measured the distance between the cockpit and the cannon. If she started the yacht now, she could escape the extreme cold domain before the Jiao fully broke free. Then wear it down gradually with speed and thunderfall. But the Ice Jiao had no intention of giving her that opportunity. It lowered its head, its enormous blue vertical pupils locked onto the yacht, and slowly parted its jaws. Its dark blue maw stretched like an endless ice cavern. A sphere of pale blue, white light coalesced deep in its throat, and surrounding cold rushed inward toward that single point. Floating ice on the sea was lifted by invisible power, breaking into fine shards that whirled rapidly around the Jiao's head. Warning: Cold Abyss Ice Jiao charging attack, Frost Breath. Projected damage: 500% of the attacker's base attack power. Target hit will be afflicted with freeze. Yun Huaishi's expression hardened. A direct hit from this attack would not only kill her instantly, it could freeze the entire yacht solid. She raised a hand to cast Vine Entangle to interrupt the charge, but a system notification popped up. Target body size exceeds skill limits. Control effects will be severely weakened at current skill rank. She glanced toward the bow. The mana cannon barrel still glowed hot. Cooldown remaining, 12 seconds. The Frost Breath would launch in no more than 3 seconds. It was too late. Yun Huaishi reached into her backpack and closed her hand around the fire spirit pearl she had saved for emergencies. The blue, white sphere inside the Jiao's mouth swelled to the size of a basketball, its harsh pale light illuminating half the sea. Yun Huaishi stared into the giant maw and pulled out her last fire spirit pearl.